Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paladins Premier League. It's time for the second matchup of the day, the Detroit Renegades versus Ninjas in Pyjamas. My name is Pretty Hair. I will still be your spirit guide through the second half of the day, but this time joined alongside by Gore Miser. Now, I think this first matchup was the one I expected to be a little bit closer today. Obviously, these two teams separated by leaps and bounds in the standings. Renegades not with a lot to lose here, so sometimes that can actually be a boon to you as a squad. With no real pressure, nothing really to lose, you can try something wacky, and the Renegades are certainly full of surprises.
And that's kind of been where their mindset has been. At least it's felt like that a lot. They are more willing to kind of just be like, you know what, let's try it. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And when they let that stress wash away from them, when they just come in and they're like, who cares if we lose? Who cares if we win? That's when they do really well. That's when they are able to beat teams like Na'Vi, like they did in week 1. And it's just kind of keeping that in their mindset coming into it. I think the biggest issue, and this is going to be me kind of parting the curtain, but like we got to talk to both Renegades and NIP a little bit yesterday. Mm-hmm. And NIP have been tracking down, isolating, like trying to figure out what went wrong, like what's keeping us from being the team we were in Split 1. Renegades still feel just a little shaky, like they're just a little more unsure of themselves.
Not a lot of wins, so I mean, not a ton of confidence to lean on. I think on that front, we'll see what the Renegades have been cooking up in the lab today. But that's the story, man. The kind of perpetual slump, some moments of brightness, I think, hidden in there for sure. Some big wins against some top teams, but these guys have struggled for a little while. Hero, of course, one of the biggest members of this squad, and the Renegades in general, changing who's in-game leading, who's drafting, all that sort of stuff is very important, right? And I think that's a lot of the core problems of some of these Premier League teams. Everyone's damn good at the game here at this level. It's all of that intangible stuff that has to be figured out to elevate you to that next level.
And I mean, he is, again, one of, and I would argue maybe in top 3 in his full form, the best front lines you can have in the league. It is just so inconsistent. That's going to be kind of the issue. And the inconsistency, you can kind of track it down, whether it's his fault, whether it's someone else on the team, maybe it's something that's coming down from synergy. I don't know. But when it comes down to it, he has so many fantastic moments that really separate him as a frontliner and really do excel the Renegades as a team and kind of bring them into the forefront and help them win fights.
Yeah.
So what hero shows up today to end up facing kind of against Bonker in the point tank matchup is, I think, essential for them in terms of who will be able to kind of win this set.
And it's the core of this roster on the Renegades has been trying to do it for a while now. So I think you bring up an interesting point in that, whose fault is it really?
Yeah.
It's tough to say when a team's just getting beat. It's kind of tough to pin it on one person in particular. Because a lot of times we try to look at the positive, right? Look at how good, NIP would be doing or somebody else would be doing. If you were able to plug, Hero onto some of these other rosters, somebody who might be looking to pick up a point front line in the future, it would be very interesting to kind of see how the Renegades perform, alongside other rosters or pieces from the Renegades on other rosters. Who knows what the future holds for the struggling Renegades? And to be honest, who knows what the future holds for the struggling NIP as well? This team in the biggest slump of the year by far. They were crushing everyone in Phase 1. Untouchable, undefeated. The lead was mountainous, Gore Miser, but it has not only crumbled, but they have started to fall into a bit of a hole in second place. Na'Vi now 4 wins their senior. After the start they had to the year, I mean, that's the biggest thing is you got to get this train back on the tracks now because HRX is just around the corner.
I mean, it was that kind of streak that there was a point where you could have told me no one could knock NIP out of the top 4 for the rest of the year, even if they just started losing everything, and I probably would have believed it. I mean, it was like 40 maps to the next one was like 15.
Yeah.
They had such a monumental kind of lead over everyone else, but it's been slipping through. The one thing this team does have that other teams do tend to struggle with is 2 players that are able to kind of flex between both hit scan, both blaster. They can play a wide variety of champions. Bittner has a picture that he keeps with everybody that he comes through. But Alex is very much on that list. I mean, right now you can see Willow, but he has played Eevee, he's played Barrack, he's played Tyra, he's played Strix. He will bring out whatever it is the team needs for him to play. And that's one of the biggest versatilities in NIP. It might also be one of their weaknesses because you never know what they're going to play. They can never maybe get so in tune with a specific play style.
Yeah.
So it always keeps your DPS kind of hungry and hunting for more. But if they have an off day and that off day ends up being on 4 different champions, it definitely will tack up the losses.
And I like that we're talking about Alex here because he's kind of who I wanted to allude to with that conversation about if you plugged in some of the Renegades players on other rosters in the PPL, what would happen? Alex was on a basically winless mouse sports team, one of the bottom 2 teams perpetually in the league. Always looked, pretty damn good at what he did, but ultimately, was still losing games. Ultimately, he's going negative, right? Plugged into the NIP roster at the last second at the start of this year, and look at him now. I mean, he's regarded as one of the top DPS in the league. Whether or not that's just because he's part of one of the top teams in the league, that's kind of up for debate, but he's kind of a stoic guy, right? Like, I don't feel you see emotions in the booth, right? You hear people, you see people getting upset. He's not really one of them to me. If you can't shake a rookie guy like that, especially to success, I think he's got a great mentality about his approach to this year. He said multiple times, it's great to win now. Sure, it's cool, but he doesn't really care if it doesn't mean that they're going to be successful at HRX. He wants to win that world championship. Of course, Bonker sporting a new haircut today. One of the older players in the scene as well, with a fresh new look, maybe a couple new tricks up his sleeve.
Him and Kresnik both went out and just got the sides taken off. That's all they wanted to do. But, I mean, being able to come through, I think looking at him, Bonker as well has expressed the same thing Alex did, where it's just like, we don't care if we're winning in the PPL. If we're winning in the PPL, maybe we peak too soon. What happens when we get to the World Championship? What happens when we get to the stage? That's kind of the mentality NIP have is just, yes, we don't want to lose all the time forever. But at the same time, at the end of the day, they don't care if a loss here means a win later. They want to learn and kind of feel for as much as they can while they still have kind of weekly league play that at the end of the day will only determine, do you auto-qualify into the top 4 or do you have to play through that qualifier bracket the week before? Or can you get that world championship? Can you get to that finals? Like, that's where their mind is at. They just want to climb up to that spot. And ideally for them, they want to win it, but we'll have to see how I think
it's a mentality that's just pushed among this roster, right? Everyone except Alex has been to the world event, and as you really pushed far into that bracket. Birds won the damn thing. Bonkers won the damn thing. Tenor has come in second place. Diggy Dog's gotten close a couple of times with Kanga. It's really about finishing the drill. I think they had such a strong start to this year. NIP showed that they have what it takes to obliterate every team in this league. If they can just find that again, kind of unlock that magic one more time at HRX, this could be still a team that I think has a good chance to win it all.
I think the big discussion between them has become complacency in a way, and that is kind of in that area. I mean, they were up there at first for so long that they just started feeling less and less like they needed to prepare. They stopped playing as much Paladins outside of it. Whereas Renegades, it's kind of maybe on the other side. They've just gotten so used to being at the bottom that maybe they're not driven as hard as they would have before. They know they can't make it away from this bottom spot.
To be honest, driven
some wins.
It's something I would never take away from the Renegades. I think despite their troubles, they've really always kept a positive outlook on kind of the team and the way they practice and stuff like that. And I definitely commend them for that, because that's half the battle, right? Is keeping your head in the game. But you got to ask, what's really changing for this squad? How much longer do you want to do it if they want to keep pushing into next year and beyond? We'll have to see for the Renegades. NIP, of course, absolutely still in that conversation for top 4. But again, they're trying to figure out what does this team look like going into HRX. Playing in the placement bracket sucks and it doesn't. It's nice to already be qualified into the HRX final bracket of 8 teams, and having the prize money. I think that goes along with that, and the prestige of being top 4, and the confidence of being top 4. The confidence is the big thing for NIP. You start with this massive lead, right? Sure, you finish top 4, but if it was like this slow burning decline the whole way, you're not going into the World Championship with a lot of confidence after having just lost, 60, 70% of your games in Phase 2. Again, you were so nuts in Phase 1 that it didn't matter, and you're still top 4. but that's not good for your confidence. And that's what I think NIP need to focus on.
Yeah.
Is these wins mean a lot for their confidence in these final couple of weeks.
And just being able to kind of come through.
Somebody help Shadow out, man. Let him know that his hair's cow-looking out the ass right now, man. You got to fix this.
He's bringing, you know what? It's to represent the tidal wave that's about to be the Renegades coming through. Well, I was actually going to throw out another little detail there. I'm very impressed with him wearing his earrings under the headset. I'm sure that's not too comfortable. Maybe he doesn't notice it at all. Maybe it doesn't make any difference. Or maybe it's just the right amount of pressure to kind of keep him going and keep him on for this set.
Stone Keep is the map. The bands Maeve, Makoa, Atlas, and Willow for NIP. The draft already underway here for game number 1. Renegades with their first pick, select Eevee. Definitely a character that succeeds on almost any map. First pick on Stone Keep, though, a little surprising because I wouldn't paint NIP as, one of the most ravenous hungers for Eevee.
Yeah, they're not sitting under there just like waiting for you to not pick Eevee so they can. I think it might be more telegraphing what Renegades have in mind, maybe getting Shadow on something immediately that is comfortable. Potentially, therefore, Vocal as well. It's kind of interesting because this is opposite of what we typically see out of the drafts. Normally we see, let's focus on the tanks, grab our DPS later so they can form to whatever we need. But this also leaves it open for kind of a triple DPS swing if they would like. Or maybe some unforeseen strategy that they might have in their mind. But NIP over here, Barrack and Khan is probably one of the strongest kind of startups they could get.
I'll be honest, I don't hate it for the Renegades at the moment. They grab this Eevee, right? Taking away Barrack as NIP kind of prevents that, Genos, Barrack, Eevee, triple DPS sort of vibe. They grab Khan as well. So that leaves them with 2 shielding heavy front lines. Cassie,
the next time you see my banners,
one of the better record scaling characters in the game.
Yeah.
And then Renegades grab the Genos as well, taking that damage amp source away from it. I don't
in
hate
general,
it.
They're like the perfect, like, hey, we're going to pick these because they're just kind of good, period. Like, it's not a specific matchup. It's not like IO where it's like this only works maybe on a couple maps with a couple comps.
Just, of the wild.
Yeah, this is good.
This is winnable, I think.
Bring it out the big guns.
I don't hate this at all. In fact, I kind of like it from them. I think that's a nice little draft they've managed to put together for themselves. NIP, without the Genos, they sort of pivoted, still in the damage reduction realm, over to Furia this time. Grab themselves Leon as well. It's just a matter of what will they pick as their final selection. Likely to go to Alex, whatever it is, but again, the flexibility between Tenor and Alex. I'm being told this is, sometimes we get trolled, but that is a real hover. Dredge was real. Quick swap to Drogos. DRE, DRO. They're very close alphabetically.
Dr. Edge, Dr. Ogos.
It happened, Dr. Edge. There you go. Drogos is the final selection there, so likely, again, to go to Alex for NIP. But those two, a lot of fun to talk about. And I think because they are so flexible, it makes NIP that much more dangerous in the draft.
This is one of those sets where it's just like everything's winnable, like you said, for the Renegades. But man, Bittner and Alex, if they go big on these champions, they just slaughter anyone that stands in front of them. It's a very dangerous game to be playing.
For me, man, it's super winnable. I think Renegades, they have absolutely draft. If they just execute, it's going to be tough. It's NIP still at the end of the day. But they have something they can do great with here on Stone Keep. That's it for us, folks. Let's get it down to the casters and into game 1.
Well, Nick, it's not exactly hard to agree with you on this case. Renegades, their draft is looking mighty fine in this case. Of course, Fawn, Kresnik, we're both down here ready to cast game 1. Former first-seeded team versus the last-seeded team. Now, Renegades, they've got quite a climb to be able to try and take this set.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're talking about a climb, trying to get up a hill, a mountain, that's a mountain that Nip's kind of been sliding down.
That's a good point.
To be fair, I mean, it's definitely a smaller climb than it would have been in the past. Draft that they brought out to get here, I think is kind of interesting. We mentioned it, but I find it weird that they would first pick. I mean, yeah, they banned Maeve. You think, oh yeah, we'll first pick Eevee because that's the last flanker left. But historically, NIP aren't really this Eevee-centric team. It seems weird to me that they would go to prioritize that so early. see if it doesn't end up paying off the Chopper. And very aggressive early. Immediately, Moon goes down. A little bit desynced from this team and keep.
First blood for NIP already. Bonker being the one sitting on point. Now that they are gone, or at least one of them is, Moonchopper in this case. Shadow's going to be the next one to fall. Thankfully, they got a couple people in NIP's side that are really just trying to go around where Banana is. You already see Alex trying to dive the two of them. You got two squishies. He manages to miss that rock. He has to back up. Moon going in really hard once again. He's just going to be able to get focused down. Has to dash out, but he's right in Leon's line of sight.
Trading with one Ruckus isn't that bad, though, but if it becomes a 2-for-1, both your tanks down with 96% and climbing on the objective. Going to be much harder to deal with. Vocal goes down on the way out as well. I gotta say, Alex on Drogo so far, pretty impressive, and I like that he's been running Fusillade, specifically for the composition that they're against in Nara Ruckus. Two of these tanks that would normally kind of get farmed by big game, having this extra damage boost kind of makes up for the lack of it. Moon gets a little trade onto a tenor through that fire angle, but for now, I think NIP might be able to hold strong.
Exactly. I mean, of course, Alex landing a direct hit right out of Ice Block onto that Eevee. Moonchopper will go try to go all the way around in the back. He definitely is looking for that Furia, wants to be able to dive her. Of course, he has to play aggressive like this on this Ruckus. He needs to be able to create some pressure in that back line. Alex, of course, taking a peek up. Eevee, Shadow blinks in, blinks right back out thanks to Wormhole. He's not going to be able to get anything, or at least a kill in this case. No one has been able to get one, except for on Bittner, on Alex. We do have Moonchopper getting both of them in this case. At the same time, though, their NIP still pushing the payload.
Yeah, really dominant position here. Diggy on the ground, pressuring. Shadow has to Wormhole back to spawn, and finally Renegades might be moving on to something again. Moonchopper leads the push. Great wall to catch Bonker in, but he has the Dome Shield to stay alive.
Well, they already used the in-play to make sure they can actually fight, but Hero drops down, gets Dragon Punched right out of existence right there, and Vocal was the only one that found a kill in that small engagement. Has to back up, rolls backwards into the wall. Already a 2-0 in this case. 4 ults up for Renegades, though. They still got a chance at life here, especially considering it's a 2-0.
Well, apparently they won being down 0-2. Very impressive by the Renegades, I guess. Really caught me off guard. But speaking of getting caught off guard, Renegades, they thought their aggression would be able to work out. Very, very fast start to that play, but I think Shadow got focused down first with the Eevee down. Moon didn't really have a lot of support. So once Shadow Wormhole back out, Moon goes down immediately following. And the tank aggression, it's good in, I think, conceptually, but not having a draft that can follow up on the rest of it. They're kind of just feeding Bittner. I mean, he's 7-1 right now. The itemization difference has to be pretty massive. I mean, Wrecker 2, Haven 1, 100 credits still in the pocket of him. He's getting fed a lot of credits throughout this game.
Yeah, I mean, once again, NIP are going to go here for the Church. I want to wait a little bit, but the Scout offers it a little bit more line of sight. Of course, they're playing a little bit more passively this go-around. Got Lightman, they got Overpower. 4 ults, well, really 3 ults after the Scout. Up on Renegade's side, all of them be used quite aggressively, and Bittner in a really good spot, obviously taking shots at the point. Now he's going to be looking up, already ready for that blink from Shadow. He's going to get a hit, but they've already started trying to look for an opening kill, but Viral's not going to find a kill, or at least any damage for that on 2 times space.
Overpower misses as well, Diggy having to disengage, and Vocal manages to find the first pick onto Alex, winning that little battle in keep, and now NIP zoned out on this backside of Church, all kind of stuck in this choke point. Beam comes in to try to keep the Vocal back for a moment, but for now, Renegades still have the objective control in this double comeback. NIP are going to have to find an opening pick quickly if they want to be able to equalize here.
Good auto aim on the Shadow already, but a good seismic crash, even better. Moonchopper's going to find a double. Now Alex wants to go up top to try to see if he can deal with that Cassie. Going to dodge roll right out of there. Hero's going to peel back to try and save his teammate. He's going to go down, but a good triple for Moon. Now he's looking for Diggy Dog. He's in the back holding the shield up, but the shield machine's broke. He's not going to be able to hold it up for very much longer.
That Seismic Crash and Hexafire combo is so key for that working out here. This is a dangerous 1v1. Fusillade Drogos has a pretty good time into Eevee. As you can see, Shadow can't live very long, but Vocal for the peel at the last moment. And spawns are basically even. The cart's still kind of in the middle of the map. NIP aggressively defending currently. Diggy mounting into Church to try to find some pressure onto Moon. And Moon's completely alone. Shadow just making it back now, but Scout's going to mean NIP can't do anything sneaky.
Oh, they're definitely going to try and make sure they can collapse on this backline, though, but Vocal's still going to be the one to go down in this case. He's going to actually find 2. Bonker gets one on Vocal, 1 on Viral, and now they're looking at Hero. He's staying alive. The healing is actually doing a lot for him. That Furia burst healing is a little bit too much. Bird's going to get the last hit, though, but NIP is going to be able to shift over this zone to Renegade's side.
The top knot no longer weighing Bonker down. The training weight of his hair is off. His power is unleashed. 3-on-1 right now, getting some good double kill there, and it's currently top in the damage charts, too. decently, almost 10k higher than Tenor right now. So great performance so far by Bonker, but Tenor might get his damage padded a little bit here by Moonchopper. Kind of caught out, barely makes it away, but Bonker smells the frag. He's going in, Diggy finds it first, and so aggressive by NIP, although they're kind of all on this side of the map, and Renegades are moving the cart.
Yeah, exactly. Heroes already got back to the point at this point. I mean, really, Moon was the distraction. Now the rest of the team is able to actually push in. They have a few times space again. He's going to look for one. Yep, that's what I figured, but he's not going to be able to find it, though. Thankfully, good damage coming out from Invocal, and of course, Shadow be able to get some damage on the Alex. Hero's going to get the last hit. He's going to dodge roll out to make sure he actually isn't in too bad of a spot. But really, they've got 3 members of NIP that are sort of pinned on the high ground of Church.
Hero seismic crashes have been massive so far this game. Getting a lot of pressure. Stun-wise, Shadow maybe just a little bit overextended. So hard to tell when Leon has her cooldowns up, and Shadow unfortunately missed time just a little bit. Tenor rolls 2 down straight here, and Moon gets a trade, but Renegades are just getting torn apart by the Leon mower.
Already a double kill. I mean, you already see Bittner right now being more aggressive. He's the one that's standing up front. He has support from the back thanks to Alex, but he's not going to be able to get a lot from that. Of course, the Pyre Strike comes in, Presence goes out, not going to find a mark though, and Vocal's able to get a shot, good enough shots to where that way he can actually lower the home.
Great overtime touch there by Shadow, and Vocal going down is going to make this a lot tougher. Moon trying to extend up top, so important to have this ground held in this overtime situation, but both tanks go down. The NIP more than likely, they're moving to match point for sure. 5 ultimates on the board for them, and the only one really missing from Renegades is that through time and space that Viral really needs to start paying more attention, I think, to the mobility cooldowns on NIP.
Right.
He's been kind of throwing them out at Tenor, not realizing that Tenor has his dash up a lot, playing very safe. This is that combo that initiated a lot of Renegades' win and ability to snowball after it, but unfortunately for them, it just didn't amount to much.
Right, exactly. I mean, you see his move, you see his mobility right here, but at the same time, I mean, it was just a good setup from Hero. Being able to offer that opportunity to Moonchopper to be able to clean that up is why he's 6-6-1 now. At the same time, though, can't say the rest for Renegades are looking as great as that. He has Master Writing too, so we're seeing the 2s and 3s are coming online for both teams here. Mainly 2s on NIP side because they're just prioritizing other items. Moonchopper, though, is going to go around on the side. He's going to decide to opt to go right underneath him. He has the Hexafire. That's what he's going to be looking for. Gets the Inflame to be able to at least give himself immunity, but it's a little bit too aggressive. It was a good idea, but they weren't able to capitalize on that.
Maybe if they can find the kills now, it could work. I mean, the health bars are okay on NIP. Now they're filling up. Leon back to full and good attempt,
nice!
Even through the midair inaccuracy from the disengage, he finds the pull onto Invocal, and 57 and climbing on the objective. This is going to be so difficult for Renegades.
66% already for the boys in black and gold. They are going to make sure that they can definitely close this one out. Already got Dispel Rocket Punch, well, not Rocket Punch, a Dragon Punch comes through to actually get a kill on the Moon. As soon as he makes it back to point, Hero's going to go down. Shadow finds a kill on Diggy. He's going to blink in to cause an overtime, but he's not going to be able to live for as long as he would want to.
With the tanks being the ones who go down, it makes it so much harder. Only Shadow can really touch and go back. Not enough time maybe for the tanks to get back. Looks like Moon's mounting in main. They could have a shot here, actually. Alex caught by Shadow up top. Overtime. Still not ticking away. The stun gets onto Moon. Moon gets onto the back line, but Tenor's unstoppable right now.
I mean, at the same time, though, getting those shots are going to mean a big deal because now they're just able to do that. Focus down on Hero. It looked like it was looking pretty good, but as soon as Moonchopper dashed in, they got the Pyre Strike. It caused the stun, and Bittner was like, okay, cool, sweet. Another free kill at this point.
Yeah, they had CC onto the Ruckus. Ruckus really has to find those kills quickly if he wants to survive in a fight. You usually don't expect your Ruckus to live particularly long. I mean, Moon going in with that Hexafire, him dying when he did, Renegades expected that. That I don't think that was a misplay on Moon. Maybe he could have been a step back so he wasn't getting shot by all 4 players, but you expect to go down there. You're kind of just making room for your team to be able to move in and capitalize on it after. It's the Ruckus life, you know?
Yeah.
Lucky for Moon, honestly, that he ended up as close to positive as he was.
Game 1, already unlucky enough as it is for Renegades. Of course, they still got plenty of games to be able to make this comeback happen. There's only one game that's already done, but right after this break, we'll be right into Game 2.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Premier League. small moment of respite there for the Renegades on Stone Keep. It's NIP basically all the way. And, of course, Tenor having hell of a performance there on the Leon.
Yeah.
My man was let off the leash. It's very snowball-y character, too. We broke down that loadout and love to watch it and really kind of get going, get in that rhythm.
And I think that's kind of the big thing. When you look at it, I think I described it afterward when I walked back to production, where I was just like, it's a very plain Jane, like nothing standing out. There's no crazy picks, but it's only champions NIP slaughter teams on, and Bittner on Leon is one of those like essential picks when it comes down to it that does that so often. I mean, unsurprisingly, top damage in the game, and well, also unsurprisingly, the 19 streak, top streak in the game. And I have a strong feeling about his kills as well.
That was a rough-ass game for Moonchopper on the Ruckus. Bottom damage out of, excluding supports, and even Bird sitting only about less than 1,000 damage behind him, roughly. He died 3 times there in that final fight. Tried to get the Hexfire off, got blown up instantly, then Dragon Punched on his next trip back, and Pyre Striked on his 3rd strike back. A rough one indeed. But let's focus on the positive here. 13-2.
About as positive as you can get.
Yeah, man. Really solid stuff from the Leon. Nobody to really get in her face. Was kind of side by side with Bird as well. There's a couple of moments where Shadow got close, but Leon is one of the better anti-flank characters in the game, would you say?
Yeah, no, not only good for the anti-flank, which I think shut down the Eevee very hard, but there were a lot of moments where, because he's sitting right next to the healer, any trade-out that he would have had with Invocal that maybe could have been a little more even in terms of like a 1v1, never happened. It was always essentially a 2v1, them working kind of in tandem against the Renegades there. And that was a very, very convincingly strong Leon as well. And it's one of those things that
one of his best.
It makes you start to question, do we ban Leon because Bittner's really good at that and then open it up for another really good Bittner pick? Like, there's just, you can't let anything through against him, but he has so much he can play.
Yeah, Leon, we had a lot of conversation about her for a long time of, if she's just so damn good, why isn't she banned a little bit more? And while still very strong and easily pickable and kind of plug and play in a lot of compositions, just really has never been that thorn in your side that you just want to ban. And maybe this even comes back to this conversation we were having in the green room earlier of, or actually Kresnik and I were having this back in production of like who's like frustrating to play against.
Yeah.
I think those that the characters that piss you off are the ones that you want to ban, right?
Goal is to blow you up.
Leon kind of chips away at you, and it's not a frustrating play experience for you. It's not taking any control away from you. There's no moments of immunity for Leon outside of her ultimate. So really, it's hard to ban that away. And Nara was kind of the same way for a while, right? She's so damn good on so many maps, but it's not very in your face. It's not very frustrating for the enemy team. She's always there to kind of shoot at. You don't do a lot of damage, but whoop-de-doo. Not going to be banned out this time around. Drogos will, however. And it's NIP that sit down the Drogos, take the Willow, and that blaster conversation has to start, Gore.
And that's where, for Renegades for me, Shadow can play a mean Bomb King. Do not hesitate to put him on it if it means finding some success. This is a great map for Bomb King. I would argue, in terms of him versus Willow, outside of Fave Flight, he should have control pretty much 95% of the game. Maybe some good traits for NIP if they find the right moments, but that's really where I think the key matchup will be. Yeah. And they grabbed the Barret Khan, which was very, very solid for NIP last time around, so maybe kind of switching up the tank front into their favor because of that.
One of the strongest things I think about Bomb King is not only your ability to fight around corners, but like you can fight low to high, like other blasters really kind of can't. Like Drogos has his booster to get up a little bit. Willow is probably the most high ground dependent of the blaster class, and I think with the Khan pick, while it does kind of put Renegades in a double shielding spot, kind of sets them up nicely for a pairing later with the Bomb King.
I mean, with the Genos there,
I think that's where they're headed.
That would, I mean, it fits right in.
Like a glove might.
And honestly, there's no reason to avoid it. The biggest question then becomes what they want to put Invocal on and how high priority that's going to be. NIP have gone double blaster in the past. It doesn't happen often, though. And so you have to question, is it likely for them to finish up with a Bomb King plus a tank? And it looks like they're banking on the answer being no. Potentially sliding that Leon in for Invocal.
You win or you die.
Smart pick priority here from the Renegades, taking the Leon, well, the Invocal pick, we should say, over Shadow's Bomb King, which we think is inevitable at this point. It's really Leon or Cassie, I think, for Invocal, for Tenor. Jaguar Falls, you're kind of standard fare. Cassie's still pretty damn good, I think, for against what the Renegades have drafted as well. Again, the double shielding front line. It's easy for Cassie to chip this one away. Pick on a Ruckus. Would they be going for triple tank? No, they will.
Bring it out the big guns.
So Ruckus asks, two aggressive front lines here. No real point tank to speak of. No Inara.
It's going to be one more on the side fronts. This is, honestly, if you replace Furia with Io, it would make more sense to me in this draft because that's typically the way we see Io played. It's just all-out aggression. Ashe can kind of make it work, but it feels like between them, they're going to have to get a couple of records. Luckily,
Willow
on the
right track.
Doesn't necessarily need the cauterize. She can go for a wrecker immediately. Cassie can go into wrecker. So they do have some shield breakage, but this is gonna be aggressive, I think, all out.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track of saying, you know, Ashe can do it sometimes. Io is the aggressive. I think this is an aggressive comp from NIP. I don't even think they're concerned about having a point front line. I think they're going past the point. They're going to call it a day.
They don't care about the objective. They want that Bomb King.
Yeah, let's see how it pans out in game number 2. Down to the casters we go.
Well, unfortunately, Navi's not here, so you guys don't get to see me and Kresnik's favorite character, Emoji, brought out on this map.
Oh, my favorite character?
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's her, right?
No, I mean, Terminus is playable on this map.
Game 2 is on its way in this game. I literally brought up Emoji because I know you're not a huge fan of her, Chris. I understand.
I don't hate it. Bunny hopping is fun, and that's honestly all I really do when I play Moji. Sorry to my team when I end up with 0 damage. But they were right on the desk. I mean, this Bomb King is going to absolutely get walked at, I feel, by this Ashe and Ruckus. So much aggression that I don't know if they have the best way to answer. I think it's a lot of pressure onto the tanks, onto Hero and Moon, to slow the game down and not let NIP really break through. But it's going to be tough. I mean, if they try to stay and hold a position, they're just going to get willowed on.
Right.
There's really there's no answer for a tank when a Willow's spamming down at you.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if you wanted to hear definition of a top-tier character, just change your name into a verb. You're already putting up a lot of damage and a lot of pressure onto the enemy team in this case. Renegades, though, they are looking for their opportunity right now. Really, NIP have already started zoning them out a little bit. This time we're taking it a little bit more slow despite us being on the map. Jaguar Falls, of course. We have Shadow just right behind this barrack, throwing out those bombs. Bird is extremely low. Grumpy Bomb to zone him out, but now they're able to push in. And Hero getting aggressive with his play, but has to get right back out to make sure he actually doesn't get picked off.
Diggy was actually winning a trade on the backside, too, forcing back Moonchopper. Now the Shadow's jumping back, too. This could be really good for Diggy, but Diggy goes for Hero instead. Hero very low, backing up, and Renegades actually win the first couple kills, but this could be massive for Alex. Look at this dive, Blast Bar stacking on everybody.
Wait, is he gonna get, okay, I was about to flip my lid right there. The quadra kill already on Alex. It was so well played by them, but they grouped up towards the end. Alex was like, oh, sweet, free food at this point. 48% for NIP, already up on the board. Fake5 is already there. He's gonna use it. Man, Renegades played that so well, but then it just fell apart.
Disengaging at the end to group up is not really what you want to do with a Genos healer. You don't have that group healing, and Fae flying in the middle of the open against a Leon is also not really what you want to be doing. Alex gets burnt down, and he might follow soon, but Moon actually a little bit over-aggressive, gets picked off by Tenor.
Already, the dodge roll, Tenor's already going in. He does find the kill, actually, on Diggy Dog. And, Diggy Dog and him find the kill, each on 2 different members of Renegades. Diggy, of course, finds another one onto Invocal. Hero is really the only one that's still on point, that's left standing through time and space. Does get a pick on the Alex, so that might actually be pretty big.
Moonchopper's here too at the last moment, but Shout and Grab both already used now. No way to live through the Hexafire. It gets canceled to get into a better position, but here comes the King Bomb. Diggy tanks it, but there's no one else that can touch the point.
He tried to use Poppy Bomb to disengage them off of the point, so that way they wouldn't be able to cap it, but it was a little bit too late. Ashe dropped that shield. Poppy Bomb, I believe, went right into it, so he wasn't actually able to get what he needed to. Stood right behind it, didn't eat any of that. Standing right in front of him, Bonker is going to get body blocked by Hero, and thankfully Invocal is there to be able to capitalize on that kill.
Great block by Hero to catch Bonker out there. Invocal rotating back into the right position to help him get that as well. I wonder if they know that Diggy's there. Okay, well, they definitely don't, because Shadow would have at least dismounted him. Now he knows it's going to be tough for Shadow to get away from this, because Moon's not in position to help him out. Got a little bit too forward. They're at least going to trade this, but a 1-for-1 is ideal with Ruckus sometimes.
Right, exactly. I mean, at the same time, He is currently respawning. He can make his way back. But of course, now that stalls Renegade's aggression because you all see him right here. Not moving as too far forward as they possibly could. Bonker already on the left side. He's making sure that he keeps an eye out on Hero. Is supported by his team right there in that little hallway. Of course, Hero has to back up. Bonker's looking for his opportunity. Hasn't found one quite yet, though.
He had a decent assert dominance earlier to make a lot of room. Got caught out after it, but it did kind of open up a lot of space for NIP. Hero now kind of forced back, but doing what he can, and Vocal on 5 HP.
Nice.
Gets caught out by the chip from Bonker later, and 3 versus 3 right now, but Renegades have the advantage. It's closer to their spawn. They're going to get their players back sooner so they can kind of set the pace for this refight whenever they get them.
Exactly. 2 members on Renegades are respawning already. They just respawned, actually. 3 ultimates are up for Renegades, and NIP has the most influential one we've seen in 2 games in a row. It's the Inflame. They have that, so they will be ready to go as soon as it gets popped. Shadow, of course, being back here, he's tossing bombs over there. He knows that somebody's right around the corner. I don't know who specifically, but he knows he's definitely trying to keep an eye out for them. Of course, trying to pre-fire around the corner, blowing it up. Of course, the Vocal's going to fire a good presence, but it's not going to find its mark. It's going to definitely zone some people, though. 35 seconds left, though. NIP still have plenty of time to be able to push this.
The benefit of the Leon build is if you miss, you could just say you were healing yourself.
Right, yeah.
That's the trick. You have present arms like 3 or 4. You're like, oh, I was trying to just get 300 health.
Oh, my bad.
Great excuse every time.
Zoning presence I was using, actually.
Yeah, VOD review's always tough when your backline's on Leon. The NIP right now are setting up maybe a push here. Both DPS is kind of stacked in face, and the angles they take really open, catches out Shadow. Alex diving in to find someone as well.
Nice. Okay.
Overpowered, though, by Renegades to just slow down this aggression a little bit.
Right, exactly. But, I mean, you already see on the right side that NIP's pushing in without very little resistance from Renegades. I mean, the only resistance they had was literally the overpower in this case. And that's, I don't even know if that's going to be enough, not even with the King Bomb.
King Bomb was so close to making it work with the CC that he was able to get, but just not able to find the frags as that time went on. I like the idea from Shadow, because King Bomb against a comp that I think has as much damage potential as NIP's does, it's going to be rough, and this was it.
Yeah, this was the play.
Everyone's so low, and that's the weakness of Genos. You have a Grover instead, maybe your team popped up, maybe any other healer able to sustain your team, but you're gambling kind of on that damage boost when you play Genos. You're saying that our team will win before that healing's going to matter.
Right, exactly. I mean, you saw Renegades, of course, being in that little dark room right there, and then, of course, well, not dark room, but really by statue. And just making sure that they actually could zone out NIP, who are already on point, and then the room opposite to them had to back up. And it's a scary thing because you just see NIP all of a sudden just start pushing them. They're like, oh, they're low enough, we can go in. They do actually win the exchange, but at the end of the day, Alex is the one that comes out with a quadra kill to be able to finish that off for NIP.
Bird right now, Moralbo's 2, Cauterized 2, Furia, another support that's able to kind of diversify the picks. Hexafire used, but gets chunked by 3-time in space.
Nice.
Start dominance gripped. Bonker decides not to reuse it till he goes down, but that gives him Vocal time to run away. Still a 1-for-1 trade right now, but I think RNG might have the better end of it, especially with Alex going down as well.
Nice. The Faith Flight was actually used when Vocal was ready for it, but both Bittner just gets 2 kills, and Vocal and Viral, they immediately go down. I guess they were just in too bad of a spot. They have the comeback mechanic, though. 35% for Renegades. NIP already with the 6%, but it's still growing, and they still are looking good in this spot.
One historical thing about Renegades on this map is they just love to group. They just love to 5-stack, and I think NIP know that. The way they're kind of just abusing them. We've seen 2 hero plays, one after the other from the DPS is punishing that from them. Now Renegades, again, having to re-push in a much worse position. Not a single ultimate on the board. Tenor getting pretty close to his scout, but even closer to death, and Vocal takes him down, traded by Moonchopper, but still a 4 versus 4 fight.
Vocal, Bonker, both of them fighting 1-for-1. In this case, of course, they're going to force the bomb team to back up. Hero's not backing up, not yet. He actually gets the reset on those boosts, which is why he was able to get out of there at that very last second. He didn't have it previously, otherwise he definitely would have dashed out. Of course, Alex already over here on the side. He is firing, pre-fire right around the corner, managed to get the dismount on the Moonchopper, and the damage is steadily building. King Bomb has to be their opening, though. It's coming in hot. He's moving in. He actually blows right up onto Alex. Already 2 kills for Renegades. The comeback mechanic is a little bit too strong as well. The Max be able to get it. A nice play by Shadow, using that corner to make sure Diggy actually can't get those last remaining shots that would have killed him.
That's why people run the BK builds that they do. I mean, the extra sustain on detonating the bomb is so crucial in those situations. Just being able to survive by a hair when you get pressured by champions like Ruckus. So massive in that. Kept Shadow alive and helped Renegades convert that point now that they're in this position. Pretty forward zone, I would say, but to be careful. I mean, look where Diggy's position. He might be able to get to the back line, but he misses the jump onto the high ground. Inflame used, but Renegades might just be far enough away with Bird going down first.
Nice. Shadow's going to go down soon after that, though, of course, and Vocal's waiting around this corner. He has so many lines of sight in this case. Tries to use how wide that ultimate is to see if he can get a pick around the corner, though. Still a 1-for-1. Bunker's already found 2 overall throughout this little exchange right here. Hero is going to be able to take down that Willow, and they can't push up, really. NIP are still in a good spot. They have to wait. Renegades have to wait to regroup, and they got to consider their options.
And this is NIP's B&B. I mean, this is their bread and butter.
Right.
This is what NIP's been playing since the start of this season. I mean, double aggressive tank.
Nice.
Not necessarily doing a deep overpower by Moon. That's going to open up a lot of space on the right. Just to stem the tide a little bit, NIP uses assert dominance in main.
Yeah, I mean, they already got Hero. They managed to actually get that stun, which was good with the overpower. They knew it was already used, but the Vice Grip actually ends up going out. In this case, though, he's going to hold up his shield. Moonchopper, of course, that Wrecker taking very, very, very high precedence over that con. He's going to drop and have to move around the corner. He's going to get his shield broken that easily through time and space. Not going to find its mark, but will get whipped in this point. Bidner has to dodge roll all the way back to make sure he actually doesn't get hit or die in this scenario. And of course, Moonchopper's still looking pretty good. He's sitting pretty. Both Bunker and Diggy are in a bad spot. They're going to find 2. Bird is going to find Shadow, but Viral is going to be able to sit pretty, heal around this corner.
Well, big part about that was actually that through time and space, forcing Tenor's rolls. Everyone was kind of panicking. NIP loves to play around Tenor. Tenor gets scared, backs up. NIP kind of figuring out what to do with it with Tenor's damage out of the fight. Renegades flood in, and that's leading to this offense here. Vocal in a very strong position over there by that cliff's edge. Such an open angle that now NIP have to peek if they want to contest this payload. They're still moving forward right now. Dome Shield still on board for him. A lot of ultimates for NIP. What are they going to be willing to use here, Vaughn?
Exactly. I mean, 2 ultimates up. They've got, well, really almost 3 at this point. The question is, will they be able to get this pick on a Bidner? They do. They may not even have to really use the old Bunker. It's so low, he gets healed back up, but it doesn't matter. 3 kills already towards the end. Shadow with a good old double, but they're able to force them back. Bidner, once again, on the right. I didn't get a chance to see what happened there, but he was already super low when they were pushing around that corner. So with them getting the pick on him, it was like, oh, well, we just not got to kill the rest of them at this point.
I think that's just what happens when you don't have a point tank in those desperate overtime situations. Bunker tries to contest for a little bit, gets shredded to pieces by the Leon in that wide open angle, but they can't really reach. I think that's kind of what led to that scenario there. And NIP smartly don't use anything. Renegades, they use only King Bomb, and I think that's fair. Right. I'm not too worried about that. King Bomb, a tough ultimate to really see a ton of value from. So get it when you know you're going to see value, and you managed to charge a second one in that last mid, so what's stopping him from doing it again?
Exactly. I mean, good old King Bomb actually was used towards the end there, so he's not going to have that available. But they still got some good ult up for Renegades at this point. They're going to opt to be the ones that actually are just going to try and pressure point. Look down this main hallway right here, where Shield goes up. You already see the dead zone goes down directly when the Hero is going to force him back. They're still in control of the point, but another good overpower coming out is going to allow them to be able to get that kill onto Bunker, and now they're going to be able to push forward.
Just got to be a little careful. There is still a lot of burst damage potential on the side of NIP, so if they overextend in a way, even if it looks open, someone could go down, and they're playing very slow, smartly. I think that's absolutely the play against the composition that NIP is bringing. They have some contest. Bunker actually dashes a little bit early. He doesn't have assert dominance quite yet. He doesn't have that tool to reposition. Inflame coming up, and again, no way to follow up. Faithlight also used, but so far away from every member of Renegades.
Moonchopper is looking really low. Gets healed back up. At the same time, he is still in a bad spot. Vocal has to back up. He's trying to get the kill on Alex, but they push in as soon as Faithlight goes up. They get the kill on the Moon. It's already a double for him. He's looking for Bomb King at this point. Oh, he's right around that corner. Dead zone gets dropped. Bidner already in the back line. Gets Viral, gets Shadow. You already have 2 members, well, not 2, but more than 2 of Renegades already down that are respawning. But look at the percentage on point, though.
Hero got it to 93 uncontested through that entire time, and that was great by him to keep it up. I honestly think if he could have done a very risky Dome Shield there if his team is respawning in time, but the staggers, I think, were timed so where he couldn't really get away with it. Still 2-2. No one will win from this fight, but someone will be on game point. Through time and space comes in, does not connect. Bunker has to rotate away. Hero going in with a Dome Shield will be able to contest, but it's too late.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Bunker, they trade out 1-for-1 in terms of frontliners, though. King Bomb actually ends up coming through. He's looking for a target, but he's eating a lot of damage as a response. They've already forced Diggy back. Moonchopper goes down, though. We're already trading 1-for-1, but the kills are coming up in Renegade's favor. They actually all just wiped them completely. Bunker's the only one that's left. He's not going to be able to charge back because he's going to get Void Grip.
That was so... I'm still laughing at Shadow thinking that Willow was dead because of the Flutter DR. He throws the bomb, he's like, that's enough. But he did the math in his head and wasn't thinking about that 25% tip he had to leave as well. Still though, Renegades do take it on the back of a great King Bomb at the end. Bomb King really showing up, doing wonders for Renegades. Also, a little trick by Diggy, if you guys don't notice that. You can climb onto that little pole there right next to the choke, and from there you can jump onto the high ground. Maybe trying to get very aggressive here. Bonker starting along on the back of an Inflame. Nothing found for them just yet.
Already, that Inflame has been NIP's consistent go button these last 2 games. Every time you hear it, you see Renegades back up immediately. Most of the time, it's just going to leave bodies in their wake. 4 members down on Renegade's side, and now NIP, they have the aggressive zone with a minute 40.
See how much they're going to dismount them. Actually, Bonker might be a little bit... Feeling a little too big for his britches there on the side. Gets melted down by Hero, and him down now. NIP is honestly just going to probably suicide in. You just got to buy as much time as possible. If you can trade picks, that's even better. And now that aggression made it an even 2 for 2.
Well, Hero actually gets a kill on Bird. We already have Viral versus Alex, and it's 1v1. He does actually pick him off. Never mess with the support in this case. Of course, Bender wants to go around on the back too, but Shadow came just out of spawn to be able to peel for him. Of course, good comms coming back for
Viral
what am I talking about? Come on, Shadow. You could have just ignored him, went straight to the point, and you would have been fine with the rest of your team being able to zone.
There's that tech, by the way. You can mount up to that little pole, and from there, I believe, I'm not sure if you can do a high jump and land on that high ground above choke, but you can at least dash up there. And Diggy already using that to go very deep, but he gets stunned by a Grumpy. He might just get burnt down immediately.
Yeah, he has to move out, and it's going to be a little bit too late for you. Already 2 kills for Moonchopper. Alex might be the next one, but they're just evening up these kills. It's always like with every 1, with every 2. Of course, he's going to jump off the side to make sure he doesn't get staggered too bad. He gently floats his way off the side. But at the same time, overpower, 2 time and space, King Bomb, Stone Shield, almost there. We got Fae Flat, we got Inflame again, and a Surge Dominance for NIP.
Ooh, great flank by Hero blocking Bonker, but no one's really there to clean up on it. The health on NIP is really rough right now. Going to take a lot of pressure from the Furia, but Diggy on a huge flank finds 2 picks on the Renegades.
Already 3 kills for NIP. They had just come back out of base. Renegades were trying to fight back. Of course, Diggy was ready to go. Viral's the one that ends that hot streak, though. 5 seconds left onto the clock. Really, this coming into this next round, 5 ultimates up for both teams. So as soon as really you hear one ult, which on an NIP side is more likely probably going to be Inflame if they use it defensively enough, if Fury tries to get dove, then you're going to hear everything come out straight after that.
Scout Inflame, not a combo you think about much, but it is something that you're going faster, you got to do a lot more damage, and there's nowhere they can hide. I mean, that's a rough combination to deal with. Alex here, I think, very impactful in this fight. So much control that the Willow grants you, especially on Jaguar Falls. Hero being back there, though, honestly, that's what turned it. Renegades having so much cap time meant that NIP didn't have a chance to extend the fight further. That's what cap point pressure gets you. It denies retake potential from the other side. Hero, knowing that their team was probably going to lose the fight with the positioning that NIP had, hard hold that objective, get that extra time. When it came down to it, those last couple moments, every second of cap time mattered.
Exactly. I mean, you got to find some way to pin down Alex as well. Already a little bit less than half. The slash outs are looking good, really, from both teams, but there it is. You heard the Inflame. King Bomb has to be popped immediately to make sure they actually don't end up going down. They actually got the overpower off, which is why Bonker just went down right there, and Vocal was the one to get the last hit. Bender in the back, and Vocal's going to get the Enlightenment, though. That's going to be enough. They're going to kill Alex. They're going to kill Bird, and now we're going to see Renegades get that zone. 54% already for them. They could end up taking the second game.
They have to get the dismounts, though. Bonker doesn't have assert dominance, so if they can dismount him and block him, looks like Moon's already doing that. 87% now, and going up, but they don't see Diggy Dog on the side. Maybe Void Grip could save it.
Nice.
In the last second, he goes over the point, doesn't get the touch.
Nice.
Renegades on the back of an amazing Void Grip from Viral. They do it.
Yeah, that's
1-1.
You love to see it. I mean, you love to see that as well. He dashed in, immediately gets force choked up into the sky. He tries to dash right back onto the point, but he is just high enough to where that didn't matter.
Where's the Dark Lord Genos skin?
Yeah.
We got Dark Lord Torvald doing the do my bidding all the time. But definitely want to see that Griff from Genos be kind of cool. But still, Renegades, man, they got it.
Yeah.
Looking really solid across that game, I think. Some rough dealing with the aggression from NIP, but they figured it out as the game went on. Figured out the mid fight. At the end of the day, 3-3. win that. That's what wins you the game.
Of course, if they're able to harness that knowledge that they gained from this game, Renegades have plenty of time to be able to catch back up. Of course, overtake Game 3 if it ends up coming up to that. But at the same time,
I
though,
hope it will.
I mean,
that'll be the next game.
Right, well, yeah. But at the same time, it's a matter of whether Renegades could actually end up overcoming that to make sure they could actually win the Game 3. But Alex on that Willow, very, very underappreciated.
Yeah, sure. Definitely did a pretty good performance. You can see why he's getting banned, and maybe it'll go back to the ban column in the future maps.
So, of course, Game 3 on its way right after this break.
INAP, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League. Renegades bounce back in Game 2, stealing away the Ninjas map pick. What a turn of events here, Goremizer. Partially in due. I think you hit this on the nail on the head. The nail on the head early in that draft. The Bomb King was looking like the answer, looking like where the Renegades were headed. It was the 10th pick, but ultimately it's one of the things I think won in the game.
At the end of the day, you get three things that work really, really well together. You get a Genis with a Bomb King on Bomb King's best map.
Yeah.
All three of those kind of combine into one factor, and all of a sudden it's rolling pretty much perfectly the way you would want to. Shadow, I mean, was able to kind of have, I don't even want to call it a clean game, because there were a lot of moments where it wasn't hitting all of the marks that it needed to, but at the end of the day, 110,000 from him, 127,000 from Invocal. That consistency between the two of them, I think, kind of knocked it through and slammed it out of the park.
Bit of a quiet one there from Diggy Dog and frankly from Alex. After the first round, it looked like this was going to be a 6-minute victory for NIP. Not even breaking 6 figures on the Willow. Diggy very low on the damage charts as well with the Ruckus. It's a struggle for sure. These Ruckus players today, it's not been easy for everyone, and I give him all the credit in the world. I came out and say I think Ruckus is one of the hardest characters to play in the game, not because of like his kit, but when you need to go in, because he's the slowest, easiest, biggest character in the game to get hit and take and absorb damage. So when you're going in, you got to be really confident about it. The front line in general for NIP just torn to pieces, 15 and 28 between the two of them. Versus looking at Invocal and Shadow really kicking it off here. 19 and 12 on the King. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Rolling in and finding value, baby. 2 quick ones to Diggy Dog. This was the final point fight that decided it all. And man, Shadow stepped up.
There's so much of this that Shadow, like, I mean, he's not doing anything insane. That's just Bomb King on Jag Falls. He's playing the map to his advantage. And I think that's kind of the big thing about, again, this pick, this draft really from Renegades. It's just good here. It fits so well. Not having a point tank definitely made a little bit more of a struggle, I think, there for NIP. But even if they had someone dedicated to stand there, they were just going to get swamped on by, 6 bombs, essentially, every time Shadow peeked his head out.
It's a very easy math equation. With the Luminary, you know, he's swinging over 1,000 damage a bomb when he hits you directly. And you can't forget about some players. It's funny, these players' warm-up routines and stuff for lands, and sometimes you get to catch some of the funny things. A couple of Bomb King players will try and kill the target range targets with just sticking them with bombs, right? The pips that run back and forth. You do 10 damage a sticky, so you got to hit that pip like 200-something times, but you will eventually kill them. A lot of damage for the King, man. It's crazy.
You can imagine if you do something like that, you're going to be hitting stickies all game. You are on a different level if you're able to do that.
That was NIP's map pick, like I said. So both these squads stealing away their map choices. Now we get to go in a loser's pick. NIP, of course, the losers of Game 2. Select Ice Mines for Game 3. This has been a lot of fun to watch. I have actually thoroughly enjoyed Ice Mines this year. Watching the strategies and drafts develop, people just being so much better at the map and being able to 4-0. You Terminus actually ban. I think that's pretty smart. We haven't seen it from a lot of people in the league yet, but the few, a.k.a. Cough Cough Zarini, that have made it work from the PPL have been very, very effective with this tank here.
It also screams to me that NIP are thinking of Drogos, because that's one of the things Terminus makes just so rough to run on this map. And so it wouldn't be too surprising if maybe Alex wants to pick that one back up for them. And I was thinking it was going to be 3rd or 4th in their draft. They went straight to it.
Not wanting to waste any time. Shadow also a very good Drogos. And with Willow banned away, it's kind of Drogos or Bomb King. If you want one, you got to grab it quick, lest you be left with the other. Again, almost not in the same caliber as Eevee, because I do think Alex is a pretty damn good Eevee.
Yeah.
But Bomb King is not a character that comes to mind when you think of iconic champions for NIP. It's not really at the top of his
Except
list.
for Diggy.
Well, in times
Diggy
past,
has a mean
you're
Bomb King.
absolutely right. It's been a long time. Let's see, he'd probably have to knock some rust off there. It's been ex-champion followed by Barrick. And as soon as Khan gets locked in, this becomes a fact. Barrick Khan, the 1-2 punch for second pick, whoever it's been. NIP picked it game 1. Renegades have selected it both games 2 and 3 here. This time, though, NIP will go for a point front line, something they didn't have last time. That could be part of the source of their struggles on Jaguar Falls. They didn't have anyone to just stand stalwartly on the objective.
I will fight to protect the sanctity
You know, for
of the
Renegades
wild.
here, I mean, with the Barracon, I honestly would not mind seeing
Time
them
to
just
take
run back
charge.
the same draft, but trade out Leon for a Victor. And then it becomes very, very potent on Ice Mines. All of a sudden, you're able to kind of run this. I think it gives them enough to maybe fight back against the Drogos while still having a pretty good blaster presence from Shadow. He could probably shake it up a little bit more. Doesn't have to be Bomb King. They could easily pull out a Pip as well. But so far,
King of the draft here on
I'm
Ice
just
Mines
batting it out,
today.
dude. I don't know
Gore
what it is.
Miser batting 100% of what he's teed up. Well done so far. Well struck. Young Chair 2 Padawan. We'd love to see that, baby. And I think, frankly, I don't know what else I would want Shadow on. Pip is officially, I'm putting my stamp on it, fallen off. Nobody's picking him. Not even NIP on Jaguar Falls, right? That was like the last bastion of hope for Pip. That's where he was still being somewhat consistent in Phase 2, but he is completely and utterly gonzo, it would seem. NIP
I can get us
will
out
get
of here
themselves
alive.
the Ash.
Stay close and follow my
What
lead.
will they round out with? Tenor needs something. Leon still available. Cassie, of course, still available. They're going to run that back. That wasn't a problem. Cassie rarely is. And for Gormizer to be 100% correct, the same draft plus Victor this time around. Once that's locked in, you will elevate yourself to profit status score.
I'm feeling pretty good about that one, honestly. I think it's actually really good for Renegades as well. I think Ying Drogos is going to cause some trouble. Of course, Cassie, it's always very much performance-based. And NIP have a draft that's solid when it comes down to it, but very much execution. Renegades, it doesn't feel like it plays itself, but it feels Ice Mines. It feels very winning on Ice Mines on top of that. You get Shadow going from a game where he already did well on Bomb King onto another map where Bomb King can do pretty well. It's not going to kind of write itself for him as Jaguar Falls does, but he's going to have that potency. And then it comes down to Invocal, and, you know, I can't imagine saying Invocal's going to have a bad game considering how often he is so consistently good. So that Victor should hit pretty hard and pretty well.
All he has to do is point and shoot, and that is one of the best things Jaden Smith has ever brought to this league. Young and vocal, always dialed in, always deadly. Let's head down to Ice Mines.
All be praise unto Prophet Gore, calling out that draft absolutely false.
Yeah, as soon as he said the term Drogos thing, I'm like, you're right, Gore. And then immediately Drogos gets locked. I'm like, yeah,
Gore.
that's exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I also agree that I didn't expect Nip to take it that early, but I think Renegades also recognize the Drogos counter in Terminus on this map with very little skybox. Taken away means it's going to be very free, so smartly they do take it first. And it's not going to be Architectonics. I'm almost positive. I'd be shocked if...
No.
I think Hero, I feel like, unless I live with Hero, I feel like he would have confided in me at least a little bit.
All right, Hero.
Like, just telling me that that was a pocket strat that they had and Tinkerin going to be the lock. Great Ice Mine strat from NIP, but I think Renegades have some answers. I mean, Overpower, so impactful on these middles, and having Dome shielded by time. King Bomb still pretty good on here too. See where they choose to lock down. Shadow already a little bit zoned out. Blocks the fire spit, but all it does is deny just a moment of AoE, and Shadow now very low. Look at this aggression from NIP.
Already the rockets are coming through. Of course, they're going to be able to find these direct hits, which is going to leave a lot of Renegades team in that very small little hallway right there. Of course, Shook, the Bidner, just been firing directly into Khan. But of course, Vocal, he's going to find that first blood for the Renegades.
And actually, they bought enough time. Nobody went down on RNG. They played their corners well enough that Invoker was just able to keep firing and burn down Bonker. And this is a very tough. This is why you pick Bomb King on Ice Mines, because you can just left click and right click. Eventually, you have to death the stickies at this choke all day. And it's so tough to go through. So much damage already taken. Bunker already at half HP before popping his DR. And he's delaying before he touches. So now that's a cooldown that's out of the picture when he has to touch it. 87%, he has to go in now.
Shadow is waiting right around this. Of course, it was an R-wall drop to try to use Poppy Bomb, but the DR came out. But still, Bonker is the one that ends up getting blown up. Barrage is incoming at this point. They actually find spread out damage across multiple targets, and now Invocal staring down that hallway. Of course, Bonker is going to try and have to shoulder bash his way out, get off of that top ground because of the fact he's looking a little bit low, but so is Bert. He goes down. Moonchopper's literally just sitting there, staggering this man. And if Vocal's ready to help out, he's going to go all the way around, but Hero ends up peeling back, and now they're going to probably be able to get Bonker.
Great play up there by Moon, nice. Getting those staggered kills while the cart moves. I know Moon is actually recovering from a little bit of a sickness. I think he had a stomach flu earlier this week. I mean, clearly he's getting plenty better. He's had a great performance so far this game. Maybe all he needed to do is be sick to become sick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like
though, regardless, Renegades
also,
setting
not
up.
The best.
Also, let's pretend I never said that.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's not do that again.
NIP used a Dragon Punch to try to help me forget too.
Alex is going to be able to find that kill on the Hero. Shadow, though, he is finding the opening, but of course we already got 2 kills on NIP's side. And at this point, they are able to force them back on the zone. And they haven't really found much yet. Of course, they are just setting themselves up to be able to make sure Renegades cannot get back to point as easily. But look at RNG. Not as bad. Not to mention how Moonchopper didn't have any deaths. Literally was about to say his name, but fortunately, he's going to be the first one to go down.
Yeah, gets caught out running away. Viral and Invocal still undying. Invocal also 18,000 damage above his second closest. Well, not anymore, but at the moment, 18,000 above his closest competitor. NIP really trying to keep this aggressive zone, and this barrage coming in and maybe buy some time, but there's enough places to line of sight. You can avoid it. He gets held up, but Shadow going down means NIP's going to keep rolling this forward.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, Bomb King is gone. He's going to be able to respawn. He's back on his way, but still, they might be still in a little bit of a bad spot. Bonker is going to get picked off at this point. It does half-fight one grenade, throws out another. It's going to blow up, hit a very huge majority of them right there. Of course, they're trying to push up to be able to make sure they can get a good, clean line of sight in Vocal. We see the Drogos is backing up, going around on the side. Make sure he can get that kill onto the Vocal. He is going to find it, and Renegades cannot find any footing right now.
NIP's still getting so aggressive. Diggy using the shoulder bash just to knock them back. Everyone going to be sent flying potentially by this zone from the Drogos as well. And even after that strong mid-fight, getting the first point on NIP's loser's pick. Renegades still getting pushed back by NIP. This is a map that they're comfortable with, so not too surprising to me. And Renegades, if they want to touch this objective, they're going to have to find a pick and fast.
Yeah, we do have the overpower up available, though. Got King Bomb, got Barrage. Doesn't seem like they're going to be able to make it back to be able to touch, though. But, like I was saying, they've got the Dome Shield, they've got Barrage, they've got King Bomb. Overpower through time and space. And on the flip side of that, I believe, not RNG, but NIP had about 3 ultimates up. I wasn't quite sure. I just took a shot in the dark there at the number. I didn't see a Nara's ultimate outside the crash was there. But I think it's 3. So really, Renegades do have the upper hand technically in terms of ult economy. They land a nice overpower to be able to try and see if they can count out their assert dominance, which I believe Ash has at this point in time. And they're going to be able to make a lot of bank off of that.
They have other ways to deal with it as well. I mean, they have the Void Grip to cancel the cast. They have the Poppy Bomb to knock the Ash away if she doesn't have too much resilience yet. And also across the board, 5 up for NIP, 5 up for Renegades. Viral will get the through time and space through the passive generation as they mount their way to mids. That's about what you'd expect coming into a mid-fight on Ice Mines. No team willing to spend their ultimates because of how impactful that fight is and how easy it is to defend without them. You really usually don't need to spend them a lot of the time. Both supports dismounting each other, and now that they're on the mid, Scout used, Needs just have to wait for the wall hack to go away.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's looking over here because he wants to make sure he can get a certain dominance to the high ground. Of course, Dragon Punch, though, along with Seismic Crash, they want to be able to deal with Hero. They do get him. Hero actually dropped Dome Shield. Just, I believe it was in surprise and response. Followed up 2 ultimates immediately after that. Of course, he's going to push in. He's going to get the assert dominance. Diggy's already up there. Bittner's already behind him, being able to fight back. In this case, they're definitely firing at Shadow. But at the same time, they might be able to get a hit or a kill. Nope.
Great peel.
Hero comes just in time.
Yeah, the barricade by Hero, great timing for that. That was, the Dome Shield actually was a 2-for-1 trade. That's ideal for Dome Shield, but the timings of the death, not being able to continue the cap time because Hero was the one who went down, means NIP for sure secured that objective. Biggest question mark here, Overpower, not used. We were never able to really find that opportunity, and I think that's kind of on the back of just good pressure from NIP.
Oh, nice.
This is definitely a way to stop the snowball, though. Overpower onto Tenor.
Nicely done from RNG. Of course, Shadow's going to be able to get the last hit, and now Moonchopper wants to be able to push in along with the rest of his team. A wall actually ends up moving him forward. Well, actually, no, the wall wasn't moving forward. He actually moved a little bit forward, I believe, due to a Poppy Bomb that BK actually threw out. But of course, Diggy's on the side. He's already on Invocal. There's no one else that's actually over there to help heal for him in this case. They're going to get rid of Bonker, though, so they got rid of the frontliner. Now Shadow's going to try and move in, get that kill onto Ash. Of course, the body block is there. They do get it. And now Renegades are finally going to be able to breathe and try and get a zonal NIP.
NIP still has a couple players up. I mean, both their DPSs and their support, so they have time to buy. Bonker also mounting just back right now on Inara. They're going to be able to lock him out of this choke, but not get too aggressive. They're not going to get into free Moon. Very isolated from his team, and looks like NIP knows. Rotating over here, kind of locking him out from mid. Now, there's a lot of people between him and everybody else. Going to have to disengage, but actually Hero gets walled in mid. Well, I thought they were distracted with Moon. They just set their sights in Hero, and he's the first one to go down. 2
squishes all the way in the back that Bonker really just focusing on. He's just laying into him. Time and space, though, to find something. He does find a hit, but of course it's not going to be anything that's going to be relevant at this point in time. He actually hit the Ying illusion. Yeah. But fortunate for him, Fire Spirit actually goes out, Battle Shout to make himself immune as he's able to fall back combustible, playing a pretty big role of that damage over time, which is going to most definitely force him to move back. Of course, Shadow's throwing out the bombs all the way in the backside. He's going to be able to use the King Bomb, though, to try and get something started, but Bittner finds the hit just as soon as that King Bomb starts.
Bittner, super smart, delays the final shot into the King Bomb, because if he killed Shadow before the windup was done, he would have kept the ultimate. Yeah. Waiting that one moment for Shadow to start moving is what flipped it. Diggy cleans up on 3 kills. Great play by NIP. Not only do they make Renegades waste an ultimate, but they have 5. So Ice Mines, 30 seconds left. Once it gets to overtime, they're staring down a conversion potentially here.
Bonker, of course, watching this little bridge right here. Of course, the right side as a result. They've got Seismic Crash. They've got some good ultimates, like you were mentioning before. They have them all 5. They got plenty of them that they want to be able to choose from, of course. The payload is slowly pushing. Hero drops that shield, though. Of course, now they're just waiting. Everyone's close enough, so it's definitely going to be overtime with them pushing in. A good fire spit, though, coming out from Alex. I feel like we've seen that so many times, especially on Ice Mines.
That's just kind of Ice Mines, though. Everyone's playing so clumped together. And Vocal diving for Bonker does get the kill, and now they have to throw their Ash onto the point if they want to touch. They realize that it's not worth it. Save your ultimates. We know we have the advantage because of that King Bomb timing, and NIP. Give it up. Renegades hold strong.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit shaky at first because of how many consistent kills the NIP were able to get during that second round. And here's what it was that I talked a little bit before. Of course, he was looking to be able to try and get that flank off on the side. Now he's going to be able to really try and move in. Of course, he's going to be able to get those kills too during this region.
That was a good flank by Diggy coming in with everybody. Really helped them get the cleanup on Invocal, who was trying to play down on that side. Being able to lock everyone out helped a lot. And looking at this, I mean, I think it's easy to say what the difference maker could have been for Renegades in that last mid fight. Use Overpower.
Right.
Moonchopper was pressured very hard because NIP understand how influential that ultimate is. And anytime Moon peaks, of course, he's going to be priority number 1. But he has to be priority number 1 for Renegades too. Set that up, make that work, or at least hold it to counter the assert dominance. Very aggressive start by NIP. Moon's already in the way, but Diggy's just going to hold on to this assert dominance until it doesn't matter.
Oh,
but
no!
Moon used it first.
Oh, okay, here comes the ultimate, but it's not going to be able to make it back. He was close. And, of course, you see him try and pull out the Space Jam right there where, of course, he's reaching for the hoop. Arm stretches out, but just barely is able to actually touch it in this case.
Aliens won.
Yeah, the Aliens won. Yeah, the alternate timeline, the worst timeline in this case for Space Jam. But, of course, 18% for Renegades. They're able to push up. we already see at this point that they have the through time and space, they have the barrage, and King Bomb's actually going to end up being used. And Diggy, of course, since he went off the side, still going to have that assert dominance.
Yeah, and they use it in the front. They don't ignore the Ashe, though. I think they're still a little bit too distracted. They could have just zoned past, but you have to look at her Ashe now, not touching the point. Dome Shield used, but Seismic Crash used as well, and everyone's going down on Renegades.
87% were looking so good for him, especially with the zone. It seems like they were trying to set up, but now that Renegades are down, now this has immediately switched right back to NIP's aggression.
I don't know if they have a way back in. All their ultimates used now. Everybody basically below 25%. Shadow just now climbing over it, but they have a great way in. Their tanks were the last ones to die, so they're now mounting in at the last moment. So much AoE damage around the corner, and Renegades, they're going to have to set up for another defense for sure here. They can find a pick now on the back of this aggressive zone. Maybe they can turn it, but NIP, they back away too early. They re-heal, and now Renegades have another hill to climb.
All right, well, in this case, they're moving down here. Their momentum is snowballing right now. We already see the Diggy charges right in onto Moonchopper. Fire Spit goes out, gets hit. Of course, he's taking some DOT damage over time. He's going to be forced to back up. The rest of NIP, of course, really just trying to hold these flanks. And Bittner pre-firing around corners, of course, peeking every now and again to make sure he can get a good hit in, just like that, right out to the Bomb King. But there's fights breaking out here and there. With Moon being up so close, though, this might be a little bit problematic for him.
It's a bit of a bait, kind of pulling them into a Invocal Sightline. I was about to say, he doesn't have a DPS with him. That makes things a lot harder, but pulling them into Invocal Sightline, this is a little bit of a bait. They get low, they get forced back, and Moon ends up on the winning end of that trade with the health on Renegades so low. They might be able to make something happen in the front, but they're a little mismatched in the timing and their aggression.
Yeah, I mean, we already see that Invocal just eating these blast shots right around the corner of Diggy, and now he's going to come in with the King Bomb. He's going to move in. Nice hit. Not going to be able to stun, though, of course, because Anar has the DR, and, of course, that CC immunity. Double kill for Shadow, one for Hero, another for Hero too. And now NIP are going to be forced to back up, or at least Bonker is in this case, to wait for his team to respawn.
Yeah, Hero cleans up the entire flank side. Shadow cleans up the front. Only one person remaining in Bonker. Just waddling away. Nothing else he can really do on Inara alone. Definitely not too much of a solo champion. She can 1v1, but not really 1v3. I like how the positioning kind of settled up for Renegades. I like how they're holding this. Hero can survive the Fire Spits way better than everyone, so hold everyone else back on that high ground and slow them down in the sight lines of your back line. Time and Space trying to come in, does not connect, and with only 40 seconds left, I'm not sure about that decision on defense.
I mean, they were able to get Bonker, though, so that's already looking good, but a good combustible Fire Spit is going to be enough to kill Hero. And not necessarily force the rest of them back. They still got Moon, they still got a few others, but good shots from Bittner. Going to be able to find him and kill him. Vocal goes down. Now they're definitely going to have to be able to, now they're definitely forced to back up. 4-0's on for NIP, 3 for Renegades.
This is where the risk factor comes in. How willing are NIP to spend ultimates to convert this? While people are still dead and respawning, but Invocal has one of the strongest positions as a backline in the entire game. Invincibility, a step away from you at all times, while you can still deal damage with perfect sight. With Bonker dashing, with Diggy dashing away, I don't know if NIP are going to be willing to spend anything here. If they get a pick, they're absolutely going to throw everything to the wall, but Renegade's in too good of a position, and Barrage actually being used by Invocal means that they're going to have a disadvantage going in if NIP want to hold it for the next fight.
Bonker already ate a lot of damage, so coming up with those poppies, but of course, good zoning coming out from Alex. Dome Shield actually gets dropped immediately by Hero. Shadow does find a double kill, though, and assert dominance. If Hero goes down, it's not going to be worth if he ended up using that Dome Shield, but they're able to get at least 2 kills and assert dominance out of Diggy, so that's definitely a trade for something.
The trigger discipline on that, it was so good for NIP. They think they recognized that they were forcing ults without having to use anything, but then assert dominance comes out, and that's winning NIP mids every time. And now it's not there. Yeah, they're going to lack Dome Shield and Barrage, but I don't think Invocal used a lot of the charges of it. I think he still retained some percentage, so that's going to recharge quickly. And the Dome Shield, they're probably going to charge that pretty fast too. If they use the overpower to immediately remove that Ashe from the fight like they did last time, that's going to be huge. She's not going to be able to charge the ultimate at all in time if that's the route they decide to go.
8, 5, and 12 for Bittner. 3, 9, 11. Bonker. Slash lines are okay on NIP. It definitely varies. Renegades at this point, though, through level 3 cauterize all across the board, except for Moon, who spread out his buys in this case. And of course, a response to that, NIP, level 2s, level 3s here and there. So now we're going to be able to see for sure what both of these teams look like in a late scaling game.
To see, looking at the comps, you'd think Renegades would be a little bit worse because of that Dragon Punch being used and King Bomb trying to trade with it. Decides to go for the window instead. Moon doesn't see him coming, and Moon goes down to the punch.
Nice, but Invocal is able to follow up, at least to be able to get that kill. Of course, he's going to back up with Viral to make sure he can escape that scenario. Running all the way back, though. 24% for NIP with Ying just sitting on that point pretty much. Bitter does go down, though, so that's good, but Dicky follows up immediately with a kill of his own.
They actually get Bird off of the point, getting a kill there. Didn't want to use Dimensional Link. Diggy goes down now again, and Renegades are going to wrest control right out of NIP's hands. Once they can finally get rid of Bonker, Shadow decides he doesn't want to move, so he just air debts over the wall, and Renegades get back control. Moving forward, a lot of hit scan on their team means that they can pretty easily get these dismounts, and only Seismic Crash up for them at all.
Right, exactly. I mean, Renegade's side, on the other hand, though, they've got Barrage, you've got Through Time and Space, and Overpower. Overpower actually does not find its mark. Through Time and Space ends up ripping through. It's not going to find anybody still. Moon is looking pretty low. He is going to get taken down. Hero has to back up to point immediately. He's going to be able to wall. He actually walls himself off just for a little bit, but he's able to actually contest the point long enough for that to matter.
Invocal used all of his barrage charges onto the DR to Nora, so nothing really coming out of it. Alex catches Shadow on the side, and Renegades have to disengage. They need to find something now. That's something. Hero very close to Dome Shield. If he can get the damage, it can work, but he goes down to Alex on the side. No control, but they're finally getting trades.
Nice job from Invocal. He's able to get the kill on the Alex. He drops down, knows Bitter's directly below him, gets the kill too. Now they're going to be able to focus on Bonker. Bonker's forced off the point because no one else is able to help him.
DR there so he can be alive by Bird, but they know where Bird is. Grenade comes in to find the kill. Just Bonker, no DR, no wall. Goes down to Shadow, and it's desperate for NIP.
Renegades right now are looking pretty good. They're going to be able to make it back to point, but not if they have a say in it. Already 2 games in a row. Renegades, fist bumps all around. They're looking clean right now.
Would you call that? I mean, it's a close fight back and forth.
But, I mean, to be able to, like, at least for me, to be able to close that out so soon when it was looking rough because Hero was low, he goes down. You mentioned the Dome Shield before. It almost got built up. He goes down, and Vocal literally gets 2 kills, and that lets Moon get onto the point comfortably.
Yeah, huge positioning by Invocal. Also, winning that duel with Tenor. I think you have to hit the headshots to outpace the Cassie. So, Invocal dropping down, making that happen under that much pressure, letting everything work out. Prioritizing the Ying that's hiding over the Anora to stop her from getting healing through that Earthen Guard. So impactful. Great play by RNG, and kind of surprised, actually, that NIP took them to Ice Mines. I mean, it's kind of a Renegades map, and I think it might show the confidence that NIP have and confidence they might have to rethink.
Well, game 3, 2-1 already. Renegades looking good, at least in my opinion in this case. They are ready to go for game 4, but we can only see that right after this break.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League. Well, just like that, Renegades steal the lead, taking Ice Mines as well. NIP pick it. It was close. Frankly, I thought once Moonchopper missed that overpower coming back up the hill, and that retake happened for NIP, who were already at 45%, Gore. I was like, oh, that's done and dusted. I mean, sometimes Ice Mines doesn't even need that much of a lead.
I mean, you were sitting back there. You were calling for it. Bonker didn't ult for like the first 3 or 4 times his health bar dropped down before finally it did come through towards the end. But not a lot of damage from him. Well, I guess a lot, depending on how you want to look at it, from Anara. But when you're trying to match it, Hero knocking it out of the park, and Vocal doing a ton during that last fight. And Shadow's right there behind him. I mean, 10,000, 8,000, give or take, between Shadow and Bittner, but 20,000 between Bittner and Invocal, and that's I think where the separation really starts to start.
And I think the answer lies in the items for why Bonker wasn't really ulting. You see all that resilience there. Hero only with resilience 1. But, I mean, it takes so long to charge up. It doesn't do that much damage, and everybody just shrugs the stun off anyway. So it's really just maybe Bonker making himself too vulnerable at that point. And most of the time, even without resilience, with that much lead-up time, Barracks just, like, the second it's about to go off, they just drop a barricade. And then they're stunned behind a shield, or they're stunned inside a dome shield or something like that.
Oh no, I guess you can't hit me now. What'll I ever do? Either way, Invocal was probably a big fact. Being able to come through and have this much damage against Victor only hits this hard on certain maps.
You know, it wasn't that, you know, zazzy or, you know, flashy. But at the beginning of this replay, when he drops down and gets that tracking kill onto Tenor, I think that wins the game, frankly. I think whoever lives there, I mean, look at the replay. Invocal lives, goes on to kill everyone. Let's flip it. Tenor lives. Tenor
goes
just
on
goes
to kill everyone.
Like, I think whoever won that little duel, and I you know, it wasn't a pure vacuum 1v1, even though, you know, Tenor and Vocal coming to a King of the Ring near you soon. I think Moonchopper's probably throwing in a couple of bullets here and there, but that, you know, that type of tracking with burst mode Victor ADS at that range is like not very easy to do. I always used to give the advice to people of just hip fire from that range.
Yeah.
But Invocal sticks to his guns. There's a lot of loadout cards that help you out as Victor when you're ADSing. So good on him. I mean, Invocal, we said in the draft, man, that kid can shoot under pressure. It doesn't matter. Invocal has always been dialed in mechanically.
Now, the question for Renegades has to come down. Ice Mines has always been a Renegades map. I mean, that's been one they've been picking all year and being pretty solid on. Jag Falls, you can maybe erase as it not being an NIP map anymore since Pip has faded away.
That was a heavy favorite NIP map in the past.
So both of those going their way, I think, is pretty big. One kind of expected, one unexpected, but both of them 4-3s, whereas that first map was a little faster, the 4-1. Shattered Desert changes the formula from those, and it changes it enough here that Renegades rely a lot more heavily on Moonchopper and his performance, as well as Shadow and his performance. This map loves good flanks. Eevee, Maeve do wonders here. And with one being banned away, the other one I think rises in priority and kind of in stock as to what you would potentially want to pick up. And they've already shown this set that they're not against picking up DPS first.
Sure. Eric, first selection. Genos Eevee snapped up away from Renegades.
Our only path is
with
forward.
authority. That's been the kind of the priority sort of triad here. Obviously, Khan has gone very consistently in the top 3 as well, so Genos will supersede that and finally break that mold. It's been very much the same, I think, for the most part. And it will still be Barrett Khan, just slightly out of order this time for NIP. And I think in the past, it's fair to say NIP have been a somewhat stubborn team in terms of how they draft.
Yeah.
And stubborn might not even be the right word. Maybe think of it this way. Like, if they have a draft and they lose with it, it's more of saying, oh, well, I just goofed up X or Y. It wasn't because we had the wrong characters. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I think, frankly, Ice Mines... These teams are pretty self-critical of like, you know, oh, in round 1 at minute 2:37, there was this, you know, I went this way when I could have, you know, rolled the other way and disengaged, something like that. But it all came down realistically, mistakes aside on both teams either way. Whoever lives, Invocal or Tenor, I think in that last little key 1v1, I think probably wins that game anyway.
Yeah.
So you can really say, you know, you run that same draft and execute it a little bit differently. There's not a lot of big problems there. So sticking with largely the same champion pool throughout the set. The bans have been the same. The picks are basically the same. It's really in these last couple we'll see some variance. I don't expect Bomb King, though, this time. Nor did I expect that.
Fernando Hover, as of right now. I don't know where he stands, honestly. I mean, over in Nara on this map, I think we've actually seen Navi maybe kind of make that preference as he comes through. He can get aggressive. He can play passive. He kind of hits all the notes you would want out of him. But it's going to be the biggest question as to how much he's going to be able to do. Paired with an Ashe at that. It's not really what I expected to see their two frontline picks go like. But admittedly, with a Genos behind him, both of them synergize pretty well. That's the conversation I think Fernando can bring back in. Barrick and Ash were kind of the
big
go-to
guns.
tanks for a Genos comp. And now that Fernando's back
will
in it,
bring an
he
end
can
to the
survive with
darkness.
that. He's not like a Nara where you're kind of left out to dry now that you don't have the healing.
Well, it's not triple tank Tyra, it's triple tank with a Cassie. NIP, probably the last team that's still, and really nobody was ever running it a lot, but triple tank Tyra was something NIP would run on like a Warder's Gate. Shattered Desert, I think they're really the only team still doing this comp period, and this is pretty much the map
Your
that they
friends
do it
aren't
on.
safe. Your family
Whether or
isn't
not
safe.
Renegades saw this
Who makes
coming
you think you are?
is something that we will never know, but they do grab a Vivian. I think a pretty decent answer to all of these shielding-based front lines.
And yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's such a lovely pick. Get Wrecker on her, melt through Ruckus Shield, melt through Con Shield, melt through Barrack Shield, melt through a Dome Shield if
She's
you
gonna
get
need it
Wrecker
quick.
3.
That's the thing. If she doesn't get this Wrecker, this game ends too quickly. She
Yeah.
might not be able to get. Look at everybody else on the Renegades. They all suck at scaling with Wrecker. Like, nobody else is going to be able to destroy shields except for this
True.
Vivian. It's a tall task. Lots of frontliners to chew through. Can the Renegades get it done again? Let's sit down to the casters and find out.
Well, I sure hope they can. I mean, this has been a pretty exciting set already. We're only on game 4. At the same time, though, the Vivian, we had talked a little bit about it before. We thought we were going to see it earlier on Jag. Not as prevalent on Jag, of course. Didn't end up picking it. Now it's in the game. What do you think about it, Chris?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard
Yeah.
for them to keep the pressure off of her, but if they can, I mean, we've seen what uncontested Vivians can do. NIP previously, Alex having a monstrous performance on it in Phase 1. But they have to protect her enough to make that happen. It's going to take some time, but to see how Renegades can play around them. Eevee, Ash, Nando. At least Immortal can keep the Vivian alive, but only for so long.
Exactly. I mean, of course, take a look at the talents here. Nothing crazy, nothing too different. You got the Cherish, you got the big game, Tinker, and Storm of Bullets, Rocket Barrage, Renegades, of course, all standard once again. Luminary, unless he was going the other one, the more damage one, the Opportunity and Chaos. You got Formidable, you got your talents all around. You already know what it is. And of course, actually going for one step ahead. I do like that.
Oh, that's Max. That's always
Right,
Max,
right.
I feel. Actually, the Runic Ammunition is the one that some people don't run. Unchecked Ambition usually is kind of the replacement for that, but they actually caught Bonker really
Wow.
early. Great flank at the start by them. They're being a little bit more aggressive than I think NIP were
Nice.
expecting, and you can already tell by the first kill. Well, it's a trade, but getting Bird, I think, is massive against the triple tank.
Well, now they're just backing up to deal with Diggy, of course, and I mean, they have to move immediately forward. Actually, Bittner is on the on the barrack. He's actually flexing directly onto the barrack. He's forcing, I mean, Invocal is forcing them all back. This Vivian is applying so much pressure, so much difference already. 12% for Renegades. Now it's building, but they are not stopping the push. I like it.
And Hero getting very aggressive, making the room for Invocal that they need. Just got Commander's Grab, which means the shield
Nice.
goes away, but Shadow peeling so perfectly. Cap time going up for RNG. 3 versus 3, but they have to disengage, and this might open things up for NIP.
Of course, I mean, yes, use a sword to be able to get out of there. Chopper is going to go down, viral, of course, with the rest of Renegades. Going to wait just a little bit before they actually start pushing back up against 60% to 54 already. Of course, they're steadily walking their way back. They're just firing shots here and there to try and soften them up before they can actually get in there and do what they need to. But no one's really touched the point yet, and Hero's shield is down.
He's going to be able to get in. He has the dash charged
Nice.
up, and Ice
Good
Storm on the
dive.
Furia starts that. They use Overpower. They have the Execute too, so 2 down for RN. Okay, I didn't see the kill immediately. I was worried, but turn around by NIP. They make it work in the face of this pressure from Renegades, and Tenor always the one flexing the barrack, and it's crazy to say that some of the best barrack stats, I think, across the league every time he gets to flex to it.
2-0-4, 2-1-4, positive slash lines for both Bittner and Bonker. Of course, they're running the triple front line here. They've got the Furia in flame, and they've got the Cassie as well to be able to deal with those pesky Eevees, or of course, whoever else that would be a problem for her, or just they would be able to burn down in this case, though. But the end play, all ready to start off. They're pushing in. They're being up a little bit too far in this case. Diggy with a double burn with one. I mean, they were standing up a little bit too far despite hearing the end flip go off.
Invoker can't be that close to a blind corner, not as a Vivian against the comp that they had. As soon as they jumped in, immediately went for her, and even with all the damage that he's doing, Barrack Tenor almost actually out-damaging Vivian on the charts. You can already see how much impact he's having. Honestly, the surprising thing for me comp-wise for NIP is Bonker on the Ruckus.
Right.
Bonker on the Ruckus instead of Bonker on the Con, Diggy on the Ruckus, but It's a previous experience helping him out here a little bit. Renegades think they found the weakness, but it's Tenor and Hero getting forced down the backside. And what a huge Hexafire from Bunker!
That's going to be absolutely enormous. He gets Invocal, he gets Viral. Hero goes down as well. And now they're just focusing on a Moon. He goes down. A double kill for Bird, a double for Bunker. One for D, I believe. And already a 2-0 NIP. Did such an amazing job with that pressure. It's such a good flank to be able to pull off that Hexafire, man.
And this triple tank, such a strong pick for NIP, something they keep going back to on this map specifically. As Nick said, usually we see it with Tyra.
Right.
Tyra not really providing the same boost she used to the team, so Cassie going to be the MVP instead, so she can be more on her own. Here's the replay of that Hexafire. Everyone thought they were safe because of the Immortal, but as soon as that ran down, nowhere left to hide. Alex getting really aggressive on that Cassie as well, forcing them into that angle, and some ultimates used though. Might make things a little harder for NIP on this mid, but Immortal, what I think was going to be the difference maker, is out of the picture for Renegades.
We're all negatives so far on Renegade side. To turn to slash lines. Invocal the only one with record 2. So that's going to play a bigger role, of course, now that it is at level 2. So that's going to be helpful, at least for their engage. 6% though for NIP already. Renegades opting to take it a little bit slower. Some of them still mounted, in this case Moon. Yash still mounted, which he's able to get off, but at the same time, Vocal's firing directly on the Diggy. He's going to move around on the side, just try and play right along these lines, but the percentage is still building in NIP's favor.
They had to play slow because of the scout. As soon as NIP tried to execute, they just get destroyed on the side. Overpower connects and will kill Moonchopper, but it's just a staggered kill at this point. Vocal might go down as well. Diggy doing what he can to turn this, but the kills are still going to Renegades. Last moment kill by Alex is going to make it a lot tougher, and this is an absolute brawl.
It is. I mean, literally, they're fighting back and forth constantly. Viral goes down thanks to Alex, but Bonker is going to be able to pick off Shadow. 90% for NIP. They're just going to be able to capture it. Now let's Moon charge directly on the point just like that, but no one else in his team is going to be able to follow up in time.
Usually assert dominance a little early, not able to go in. Hero buying just a little bit of time now, but look at everybody from NIP that's there. They had to move in. No one else on Renegades could follow up. You're going to go up 3-0, and I think it makes sense. They exploited the way that Renegades like to draft. We've noticed this early DPS picks from Renegades a lot. Picking DPS, they're not limiting tanks. NIP just get their run of the litter with all the best tanks to run this composition.
Of course, and you already see Diggy on the side here. Fire Strike went through, doesn't find it, but of course was able to make sure that Renegades was very cautious for how they approached that, allowed Diggy to be able to kill with the Viral. And they're all just collapsing on these two that are on the side. Being a little bit too aggressive at this point, especially. But Shadow, nice double from him. Moon's still in the back. Able to get the commander's grab on the Hero, but that's going to end up just killing him. And now Moon's by himself, and he's going to be able to be staggered.
The longer this fights go, the better for NIP. They've been moving the card the entire time. Moonchopper dives into the edge of the map just to respawn and get back to his team. 80% on the Immortal. I think that's the most impactful thing here. They have a combination. They could through Time and Space plus Ice Storm, but who's it going to hit?
Right.
Everyone in NIP is so tanky. It's only going to kill the support of the Cassie.
Yeah, I mean, the overpower actually goes through, but doesn't find anyone. You have to use the inflame to be able to capitalize on that. They want to make sure they can actually push this, end it. Through Time and Space, they're going to get the kill onto Bittner. But still, though, Bonker with a double. Him on this ruckus, man. I mean, it's been unstoppable for them already. Shattered Desert, a very quick 4-0.
Yeah, and NIP, again, just getting the draft that they want. I think that's why they wanted to go to this map. They really exploited the way that Renegades wanted to pick champions. As I said before, early DPSs just leaves things so open. Cassie clearly doing a great job at filling in for the Tyra in that comp, though.
Yeah, I mean, Nick set it up on the desk, and you said as well, it was rough for that Vivian. She was able to get record 2, but even still at that point, I feel like it was a little bit too late because they already had 2-0, and they already had the advantage, the momentum. NIP was just able to clean it up, dust their hands off, and just move on to the next game.
Renegades had a great adaptation to the scout that came in. They played back, waited for the aggression, got the first pick, but because NIP had the first deaths and the fight went so long, so grindy against triple tank, you can't really get those kills that quickly. They came back. Bonker just mounted back in and wiped the floor with the rest of RNG. Made it real tough. Next map going to be Renegades, so maybe not triple tank. We'll have to see where they end up deciding to go.
Already, we're looking at a score tie of 2-2 for NIP versus Renegades. Right after this break, though, we will be right into Game 5.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins. Welcome back, everybody. NIP finally bounced back on Shattered Desert with that triple tank composition, and Gore in less than, or I think just over 7 minutes. So talking less than 7 of actual game frag time there. Very quick victory.
And it starts opening up that conversation on what maps did the Renegades have in their pocket? Like, where is it that they can get these performances? Looking back at the fact that their wins were 4-3s, like, NIP are winning heavily when they win. And so longer games, Renegades maybe have a little bit more time. And that's kind of what they were missing. I mean, we talked about it on the desk beforehand, but Invocal didn't have time to get the counters up to get a wreck or 2 or 3, to burn down shields, to open up that conversation. And without him popping the shields, you had mentioned it, no one else on the team really can.
Nobody scales. Nobody really wants to go into Wrecker. I mean, Fernando certainly not. Genos could if he had to, I guess, but you really, again, you want to try and avoid. You can help. Viral went straight into it. He avoided Kronos. Shadow went into it as well, but too little, too late. Just a bit bulldozed there. Diggy Dog, 12-2 on the con. Looking, feeling like the dominant man that he has been, and you know, back on these off tanks that can really bulldoze it over. It's kind of fun to watch him, particularly in these triple tank compositions, because though Tenor is a great barrack, it really feels like Diggy Dog usually carries the game in these triple front lines, whatever it is. He gets to run around with all of this pressure. He's kind of taking the reins and taking over. A lot of fun to watch this guy really do it here on the aggro tank, the off tank, whatever you want to call it. Like you mentioned earlier, he used to play the Bomb King, used to be a blaster legend, and has really had to fill out this role for NIP. One that's tough, man, because you got to play everything in the book as an off-tank player. And then sometimes DPS as well. You got to have a Cassie and a Leon. I think far and away the hardest role on any team is that off-tank, and Diggy Dog does it very well. Solid performance, but work far from done here for NIP. They got a long way back into this one. The Renegades had just won 2 straight. They were in the hole. This just evens up the score at 2-2, so we have a best of 3 from here on out. I like the point that you made, though, about when the NIP win, they win fast. 4-0, 4-1 earlier on in this set.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing to look at if you are Renegades right now is trying to figure out what map can we go to that either is going to make it a lengthier game for us, or what do we know? They have showcased Jaguar Falls a little bit in the past, although normally that's an NIP map, so that's kind of a surprise. But Ice Mines has been notorious for them. Frozen Guard is another map that kind of makes me think of the Renegades. And so it wouldn't surprise me too much to see them maybe shift towards that dynamic.
Frozen Guard would be great. And there she goes, mate. Problem is, I think NIP are solid on this map as well. There's a lot of conversation around Strix last set, Gore, and that's what I'm looking at here in this draft. It was, well, we couldn't stop talking about it in SSG.
Yeah.
You know, versus Kanga, and then it was pretty absent, as well as Io. You know, given how NIP started this year with all that aggression, it's been a little bit surprising to see the lack of Io from them. And we did that video sort of talking with all the supports about IO. So part of it was, you know, you get kind of the idea for what does each support think of IO. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, Bird wasn't too crazy about the character.
Not at all.
So that might be a big part about why NIP has not really worked it into their drafts. Somebody else can do it, maybe then he can be convinced. Bird, a long-time mind, long-time drafter. Used to coach a Smite team, actually. Very successful one at that. Now over here in Paladins, long successful career behind him and looking for more success ahead of him as well. Barrack was first picked last time. First picked again here. High priority. That's kind of been the Strix of this set, if you will. Both these teams looking to lock down the Dwarf, the Master Tinkerer, very early.
Now, Fish Echo is the one who did this, but NIP I don't think would be too far-fetched to think of it. Pulling out something like a Drogoz on Frozen Guard. Not a very common pick. Definitely not something you pick early.
For sure.
But something that you can do if you play it appropriately. It's really, really on edge, right? Like, if it works for you, it works wonderfully.
Yeah.
But, again, Fish Echo's really the only one on VP and in the league, really, who's been able to make that work as phenomenally as it has. Sometimes in the past, I feel like Bomb King used to be pretty decent here. But this is definitely like the Eevee Mave conversation. Those two are pretty much scooped up usually pretty quick. With Maeve being gone, again, Eevee probably rises in stock value.
There's so much decided by what damage champions you grab on this map, whether you're going to go for more of a divey style composition with a lot of mobility. Also, range is a very important conversation to have here. You know, sieging the bases and defending your base on Frozen Guard requires a lot of range. And with Strix gone, Kinessa pretty much out of the meta, kind of falls to like a Leon or Shaolin maybe to step up and be that character.
I mean, Victor's been big on this map in the past. I think actually Renegades were the team that was running it here consistently. Then it kind of slowly started getting picked up everywhere else. And so not too surprising. I mean, they went for it on Ice Mines. If they do choose to go for it here. And Vocal already had a phenomenal performance. And not going to be too big of a swing for him to be able to make that go through. I think the biggest issue for them is going to come down to who Shadow plays. Because it's dwindling in terms of Blaster. There's maybe you could swing him onto like a Cassie, and you could kind of maybe go double direct damage for something if you want to. But you kind of run a little bit of, I want to say, a risk with that. I mean, this is a very different map in terms of how you have to play. Like the point fight, the first half of the push, and the second half of the push, all three of those play so differently that you can't really get a draft that does all three great.
Yeah, Shadow's a beast mode Cassie for sure, so wouldn't be a terrible thing to put him on there. If somebody's gonna do the Fisheko here and grab a Drogos, it would have to be late in the draft, I'd imagine. An NIP.
For sure.
Already with Alex, probably, definitely on this Eevee. They're probably not going to be the ones to do it. What will Tenor play?
You are not
he
welcome
can play
here.
so much, and NIP need another backliner, perhaps more mobility. I don't see anything like a Pip coming out again. I think he's pretty much concrete out of the meta at this point. Haven't seen him in a long, long time. Last couple of picks here for the Renegades. They need a support and something else. Score. Is that a Blaster? I don't think so. Is that a Shaolin? Is that a Victor? Is that a Cassie? Cassie feels so plug and play, so.
Yeah. I think that's the glorious thing. And the only issue I think that comes in with like a Cassie Genos here, like they're hovering, is that's just so bland, if that makes any sense. There's no kind of flavor to this draft, and it does feel like every single roll was, what's good here? Okay, get it. What's good here? Okay, get it. NIP have something, at least as of right now, that feels like a little more Frozen Guard control. Inara has very good point control, especially with a Ying behind her. Eevee can control like cliffside and pillars over there. Khan can help whoever they lock in for the other side to maybe kind of keep whatever you want to call the right-hand side of this map, the right-hand side of it.
The ice wall or the...
Yeah, I guess the ice wall.
Sure.
Being able to come through. Like that little like kind of balcony that's not really a balcony because it's on level with the point.
Is it the one... Are you talking about like the pillars and the plateau?
No. That will be good for Eevee.
Like that long
But the
ice
opposite
wall.
side, the long little like ice wall. Where it's the sniper corner, where they like to hang out, where it's a little more long range. I think Victor and Khan are going to be able to control that. Like I think Renegades have a good draft. I think NIP just has one that plays the map a little better.
Oh, we'll have to see. I definitely see what you're saying about bland-ish.
Yeah.
These are all just like the...
It might just be it doesn't have enough flavor.
Yeah, they're like, I definitely feel what you're saying, but a lot of plug-and-play characters are that for a reason, right? They're just good no matter what, no matter how you slice it. We'll have to see how it goes, guys. All tied up, a best of 3 from here on out. Let's get it down to Frozen Guard.
Let's do it. Historically, NIP has lost on this map before. They lost to Fango, went to Game 7. The final score was 4-3. So Frozen Guard, like the draft from Renegades here. And of course, on top of that, I mean, it's really just going to matter who's going to be able to win these short little engagements around the corner.
And I think Renegades, if anyone has that advantage, it might be them being able to trade into Tenor on this Victor. Leon is definitely better at winning those cross-map engagements with him, assuming all the cooldowns are hit properly. Tenor apparently expecting to be attacked from all angles, so practicing that in the spawn right now. Hopefully that'll help him as the game goes on, at least for their sake. But a very sustainy comp for NIP between a character on Ying who doesn't really require too many resources to stay alive, in Arakan Ying. Super sustaining. They're able to withstand almost anything. Let's see what happens first. Looks like Ash and Cassie are going to be pushing on the wall side into Tenor. He's going to block as long as he can, but this takes too long. The damage from Tenor will make a huge difference, but Hero immediately picks Bonker on the point.
That's going to be already looking pretty good for Khan in this case. Of course, Bittner is just doing what you would expect to see a Victor do. Wait in the back, fire shots, throw grenades when the cooldown's off. Make sure he can actually get some damage on the people or get a potential kill. But right now, 57% already for Renegades. I mean, they got the first kill onto Anara. Now the percentage is building with people that haven't even touched yet, except for the Anara. It's going to be pretty good for them.
Yeah, and pressure on the right side. Moonchopper
Nice.
actually catches Diggy. Alex comes into the last moment. The longer this fight goes, honestly, the better it is for Renegades. Double backline. So powerful in these slow engagements, and Alex now caught out. Shadow connecting what he needs to on him. Actually, Shadow on the Leon, surprising to me. Those are going both ways right now, but Tenor on the refight. I don't think they have someone to touch. It has to be Alex and Bird going back and forth. They actually push Hero off, so NIP managed to hold strong for now.
Vogel's going to go down. Shadow's going to follow that soon after that. Now we see Alex, of course, on the side here. Doing what EB does best, being annoying. Basically blinking in, getting those shots, blinking back out. Of course, using Sword to keep that pressure going. Doesn't have to leave anywhere. Poor Hero is going to be walled off, though. He's going to get picked off thanks to Bonker. And now what was a potential point capture for NIP now are in the favor of NIP.
Alex gets taken down to the right side. Moon desperately trying to touch. The strafing just out of the way. He gets the touch at the last second through time and space. Does not connect either. OT starts, but no tanks are in position for Renegades to touch.
A good wall from Anara is going to make sure that no one can get in there right on time. And of course, Khan is over on the side here with the overpower. Of course, he's waiting to peek to be able to make sure he can actually grab someone at the same time. They are really just putting this pressure on. I mean, Renegades, so good. And just had a problem with capturing that last point fight.
It was just the touching from Alex and Bird that really turned things around, being able to blink in and out with the wormhole, with the dimensional link. So much free objective pressure that Renegades couldn't really answer in the last moments. They got there, but they couldn't close it out because of that. Very strong picks in their comp for NIP because of that. Hero knocked it again. He does not have failsafe off of cooldown yet, so he's going to go down. Fragment used, doesn't find anything, but even trade so far. 4 versus 4 right now, and Renegades have to wait a little bit longer for their respawn.
Definitely a good start already, especially when Vocal finds that kill on the Bittner. Start dominance, though. He's going to be able to catch a few people kind of off guard. Seismic Crash to follow through. Now they're just firing on Bonker. He is going to die. Use Seismic Crash to be able to get a stun. It's not going to be enough to keep him alive, though. It will be enough, on the other hand, to be able to allow his teammates to back off and try to regroup.
And this is a great defensive comp for Renegades. I mean, pushing into this point against a Cassie and Leon is not fun. I mean, it really is rough. You're really storming the beaches at this point. The frozen beaches as Cassie and Leon are both just raining down on you. A lot of rotation potential, too, from them. If they see an opportunity, they can both dash off, carry the momentum, cover a lot of distance, and get it really far. He actually might be looking for an overpower potentially on the side if they want to use something. And they do use it. Connects on Hero, but Alex taken down to the backside.
He goes down almost immediately. Got Illusory Rift. They've got Ice Storm. Barrage. Time and space comes through. It's not going to find anything either. Varro's been having sort of an offset, really, with not being able to hit some of these time and spaces. Of course, the Barrage, though, from NIP, be able to zone them out as they're still pushing in. They're literally zoning 3 people. Hero drops his dome shield, but he gets thrown right out of it, has to dash back in. But everyone's just burning him. No one from Renegades, except for just now, were able to get back in time.
The flank play potentially working out, but because RNG only found 1 pick, NIP found everybody else. The rest of Renegades was just stuck. They were just left in the mines watching as NIP pushed the cart uncontested. Hero comes back up, but since everybody in NIP is just saying, just shoot the cart. Just shoot whoever touches the cart. That's it. We're going to win. We don't have to worry about anybody else. It made it impossible for Hero to live long enough. He kited in the dome shield as long as he could, but NIP just too good at having a strong target priority.
Right. And of course, in this case, though, I mean, you have 2-0 already for NIP. You've got Ice Storm still available on Alex's side. He will be able to be a little bit more aggressive with how he wants to play. Shadow, though, with the Enlightenment, and Invocal with the Scout. Of course, the healing is neck and neck right now. At the same time, though, Renegades have to be able to find more of an opening. They've got comeback mechanic, so if they do end up winning the fight, they still can have their chance at capturing the point. But it's still looking good for NIP, even during last round.
NIP also used a lot of ultimates to convert that, so not as much on the table for them. Their health very low across the board. Tenor has to back up. Ice Storm now ineffectual, not able to connect on who it needs to. Look at this pressure from Renegades. Look at the health bars in NIP. Only Eevee getting healed up just now, but everyone else so low with a Ying. You'd be able to keep up normally, but there's just too much pressure from the Renegades.
Trying to use that mobility just to stall out a little bit of the point capture. Nothing too much. Of course, the wall goes up, and Nara wants to move in while Shadow goes all the way over to the side there. They used the Ice Storm a little bit earlier. He's going to end up using it. Nice shot from Shadow. My goodness, right over. That was like a Rainbow Six Siege peak right there.
There's the tiniest little edge of the wing is what clipped in there at the last moment. What a shot by Shadow connecting that. Diggy tries to touch at the last moment, unable to do it. Tenor goes down as well, and Renegades on the back of the double comeback, and a great play by Shadow. Capture that objective, keep themselves in this game, potentially in this set, depending on how this map goes, the rest of it. NIP though, since the ultimates were used at the end of that last push, didn't have them for mid-fight, but they will have them for this defense. A couple tools up for them, Seismic Crash, Overpower, if they so choose to use it. If we're going to see any, it would be used probably right now while they still have time. And Overpower, first one connected, it does hit, but Diggy immediately gets rid of Moonchopper.
The Vocal's able to kill Alex, but Diggy, like you just said, is able to make sure that Ash is in the dirt as well. Shadow right around this corner, knows that he's back there. Once again, is firing shots directly into the shield. He does manage to get a good presence on the Bender, though, has to back up. He's going to get Void gripped. Then Diggy has the Commander's Grab out of there. Now he's chasing down Viral, but they're just trying to stay on him. He does go down still regardless, but Diggy is going to find himself also dead.
Diggy caught in a backline sandwich between Shadow and...
Oh,
what a piercing shot
nice
there. Tenor going down, he tries to retreat. Everyone's so low again on NIP. This Ying can't keep up with all the damage the Renegades are doing.
Triple kill already for Shadow right there. A good presence as well to be able to get some damage onto that Anar. Get on the Eevee. They're both so low, but the turret from Barrack is actually making sure that Eevee can't peek. She has to move all the way back to where their spawn is, or at least close enough to it to allow Vocal to get that kill.
So, tier lists.
Okay.
Normally when you look at them, you're thinking, you get told, oh, this isn't like indicative of exactly how the game is going to go, whether you're talking about a fighting game or a shooting game or anything, right? When you got two of the best DPSs in the game on your team, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think that at least in the case of Cassie Leon, the tier list matters for sure.
That's a very, very astute assessment there. Of course, it's going to be really, really difficult for NIP to try and come down these stairs, but it's going to be even harder for Renegades to try and make it past there because stuff like that happens. You have so many lines of sight directly on there. Diggy with the double, Bittner with one. Now Hero's looking done. At this point, he's going to be able to move his way out of there, but it's not going to be enough for him to live or stall in time.
Such a rough point to push. I was talking to some of the players yesterday, and I have opinion. I heard that Frozen Guard, people are feeling like it's harder to push than Ice Mines. And that's crazy, because Ice Mines, to me, has been the 3-3 map, but Frozen Guard is so hard to convert on. So much open space you have to cover. At least you have cover and angles you can play on Ice Mines, but Frozen, so wide open in the end. The flank route is a tunnel that's just closer to the sight lines of the people on defense.
I mean, even on the fact that Ice Mines is difficult, but Frozen Guard, you just brought up the point that it's a little bit more debatable as to whether this is harder or Ice Mines. Both teams have that bridge, and I've seen more people having trouble trying to convert that very last push than I have on Ice Mines, in my opinion. Just in my opinion.
No, I think you're right. I really think it does become a struggle. Nowadays, I feel like people are a little bit better at converting the payload.
True.
There's definitely compositions that are able to push, ones that have a lot of vertical mobility, so you can punish the people that are hiding up in that little corner. That's walled in, which is very good for contesting the payload, at least contesting the people on the payload, excuse me. Right now, though, back to the mid-fight. What could potentially matter the most? Hero, they try to combo him out, and the combo works. Plus, I think he's getting cap time the whole time. Seismic Crash to extend the snowball potentially. Extended it will be.
I mean, Bittner, man oh man on this Victor. Give him a chance to be able to sit pretty like this, and he's going to do amazing things, especially when he's just firing. Well, I shouldn't even say firing. Free firing, more specifically. Firing would assume there's some sort of obstacle. There is none. NIP, 84%. Now they're just firing at Hero once he gets the point. He's able to touch, but there's not going to be on overtime.
Oh, yeah, Chopper trying to go in on the side. He has assert dominance, but because he couldn't go through the doorway, not able to touch. I think he's outside of the edge through time and space to try to connect, but it only hits tanks. Bird gets knocked back, but Doesn't need to be close to do all the healing. Everyone on Renegades is just falling in. NIP gonna go up to Matt to set point.
Unfortunate. I feel like that's at least a little bit of the unsung hero. I just gave him a little bit of praises, but I mean, Bittner on that Victor literally was just free firing. Like in the back line, his tank set him up so well. He was able to just land those shots, land those grenades, and it worked out so well.
It's kind of the power of the NR Khan. Able to lock down a lot of space, soaking up a lot of damage, which made things kind of difficult for Bird, as we were mentioning. Everybody kind of low across the board, but managed to hold strong. His team knew how to play around that Cauterize and get rehealed. Sustaining composition, even in the face of that overwhelming damage from Renegades, held strong.
Yeah, I mean, it did indeed. At the same time, NIP, they were able to do what they needed to, especially now on Frozen Guard, especially after having lost on this map previously before. They're looking pretty good already. 3-2, though. This could be NIP's last game right after this break.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Premier League. Another win for the Ninjas here. Slightly less convincing than Shattered Desert, but I think a firm victory overall there on Frozen Guard. Like I said, not a landslide either way, kind of just a solid victory there. The first round looks like it was going to go very well for them. What were some of the things that kind of stuck out to you?
Honestly, I would say resilience from NIP more than anything. I mean, they had a lot of bounce back. Bonkar specifically just kind of withstood a ton of damage, which admittedly that's what Inara is supposed to do, but it just felt like he was fighting against the odds sometimes, and the odds were still in his favor, or at least still favoring him towards the end of it because of how long he would just live through this engagement. It's like, you should be dead by now. You should be dead by now. I mean, 92,000 damage taken here, which is, what, I see 20,000 more than the next highest, and that's 76K for Hero. Yeah. He was just constantly under duress, and it didn't seem to stop him much.
It's you know, with no real, they have Cassie, right? She's going to do a bunch of damage to these frontliners, but Inara, not, damage reduction in the way of a shield, not, frankly, even a ton more health than any other frontliner. So she's not really any more susceptible to big game than any other frontliner. If anything, just via damage reduction, she's kind of better against big game, right? Because she's not getting her sustain through a ton of health. It's just because of, I'm just not going to take a lot of that damage. But it's only half of that equation.
Yeah.
Birdon, kind of one of the lesser seen support characters. Nice little sidestep there, the time and space. Had about 50,000 more healing. So I think when you really slice it, when nobody's really blown anyone out of the water, not a ton of flashy plays made either way. Frankly, I think the best DPS performance was Shadow on Leon that time around. But it's really that rock-solid frontline combination. It's kind of a boring win condition, and Nara getting hyper-pocketed by a Damba or a Ying or something like that. It's not flashy at all, but it gets the job done. When he can stand there longer than the Renegades can.
I mean, you get better slash lines because of the healing he was outputting, right? I think it was like 8-3, 11-3 for Bittner and Alex. It was 1-5 there for Bonker, but he's not supposed to be coming out and getting a ton of kills. He's supposed to be kind of towing that line. And Illusory Rift is one of the best ultimates that you could have in terms of healing and as a support. And so I think NIP, they've been one of those teams that has been pulling out Ying for a while now, and Bird does not shy away from the opportunity to do so. And when he does it, it's just phenomenal.
One of my favorite things about Illusory Rift is because it charges so fast. I feel personally, I think it's largely agreed upon that it feels like a fourth ability rather than ultimate. You can misuse Inflame. You can miss Dread Serpent flat out. You know what I mean? Certainly, you can have a lame Illusory Rift, but when a fight's about to kind of get going,
I accidentally gave you healing.
It's kind of like unless you misclick it when no one's fighting, like you're getting something out of it. Like a fight's about to brew, just pop that bad boy, pop it off, get the next one going, get it charging. So much value, so easy to grab. Ying still hard to play in my opinion. It's really that movement ability. Staying safe on Ying is not easy to do. She's an extremely old school support. And so that's why I think Bird's one of the better players to pilot her in this league. This could be it for the Renegades. NIP here on Bright Marsh. It's not their map pick, and Renegades lost, so they have selected to come here. But a map that traditionally has gone fairly quickly, I think, in the Premier League. You can get snowballing very quickly. So if NIP can grab something like they did on Shattered Desert and put this one away quickly, the Renegades wouldn't have really much to say about it.
Not only a map that typically goes very fast in the Premier League, but I say this even knowing that Jag went the way of Renegades earlier. A notoriously NIP kind of map that can come through. And we saw Torvald earlier. I don't think we'll see him, but this is one of the ones that they would always run the house because for some reason people wouldn't ban Torvald against them. And then they just decimate you with it. But it opens up a lot of picks, not only for Bittner, but also for Alex. Cassie can go either way. Leon has been very, very kind to Bittner on this map. Drogoz has been very kind to Alex on this map. With Willow being banned, Bomb King was there earlier for Shadow. And while NIP don't necessarily have someone that screams BK, it's just that blaster conversation, I think, that kind of opens up for him.
Alex can definitely do it. With Genos banned, I don't know if I would smell a Bomb King. Grover or Furia is where I think I see Viral going to next. Rover's easy enough to kind of just tuck in the backside of this fight. It's kind of, both characters pocket fairly effectively. Furia's cooldown's much, much lower than Grover. Banned out. I kind of forgot about her. She's been banned the whole set. But in Game 6, Maeve will be locked in. Super strong pick for Invocal. I think one of the top, if not tied for the top in my book, Maeves in the league. Him and Mutu, I think, are just so electric to watch in this character.
I'll also say for a long time there, NIP, they struggle with dealing with Maeve, and they don't really have anyone that picks it up as well as the other teams. That's actually one of the weird weaknesses that's kind of been found. It's a team so versatile that they can run virtually any champion, but they still have like 3 or 4 that they just don't get. And Maeve seems to kind of be in that. She comes in, she has an average, sometimes below average game for them. And then it's like, okay, cool, let's just ban her because everybody else is having these stellar Maeve games.
I think, I agree with that. Everyone is pretty damn good at everything on NIP, but I wouldn't call anyone on NIP the best in the world at anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Except for the weird stuff that Tenor plays that no one else plays because he's just that by default, right? Pip. So
yeah.
Cool, you got that one for sure.
For a while there, I would have given him Strix, but now everyone's picking up Strix.
Yeah, that's very true as well. Bomb King, Verd, here for the Renegades. They have that Damba and Nara, so could potentially be a win condition for them. Just
you are not
in that neutral territory when the fights don't really go any one way. Damba and Nara is just going to be AFK winning on the objective, man. Nobody can stand against that. NIP have a pretty aggressive lineup at the moment. Cassie can roll in, Inflame, Ash dashing in. I can see this transitioning into something very scary. But what will Alex drive with? Final selection still up. Drogoz is available. Take to the skies. Now, the Renegades don't have a great answer for it. No hit scan. Maeve is the closest thing to it outside of Khan. Hopefully Khan is like, he can do a decent job of it, I think.
Yeah.
On Bright Marsh.
He can deal with it. It's just close enough that the damage will be good for him. But it's not exactly the easiest matchup for him. And lo and behold, he disappears for weeks. And finally, someone let him out of his dungeon.
Let's go, baby. They hurt us, man. They hurt us calling him out. Not the best in the world at anything. Damn good at everything, except for Pip. I do believe
He's like, you're damn right. Lock
NIP,
in.
yeah, I do believe NIP have the best Pip player in the world. Simsalou might want to fight me on that one. Maybe want to fight for that
there's
title a
King
little
of the Ring.
Yeah.
That one wrote itself. Simsalou versus Bittner Pip.
I'm excited, man. This is a chance. This has been a great set. I have to say, Renegades have really surprised us today.
They put on a show.
Taking it to the #2 seed in the league. Popping off here. Backs against the wall, though. They have to win Brightmarsh or it's all over for them. Let's get it down and see if NIP can close it out or the Renegades will fight on.
I agree with you guys up on the desk. I mean, Renegades, a 2-3 already. I mean, they're not leading. NIP is. This could be their last game, but even if they take us to a Game 7 or not, I'm impressed with how Renegades have been playing, and they should be impressed with themselves, too.
This is the time for them to climb, too. You know,
Exactly.
we're getting just closer and closer to the HRX qualifiers. If you can peak around that time, that could be their trip in. You know, it could be them knocking out another potential PPL team if they manage to continue this growth that they've seemed to have been having. I just want to point out how fast Tenor can move across the spawn, jumping back and forth with that Pip. The little weightless jump's pretty cool. And across the board, looks like standard, I would say, talents from everybody. Catalyst, I think, is one that could be up in contention. Some teams have been pulling out the Mega Potion. We see it a little bit more in PML than anything, but just adding extra sustain, and sustain's definitely not the name of the game for them. They don't see Bonker running straight down mid, but Bonker gets walled in now. This could be a flip for Renegades, and it is.
It is, yeah. Very, very well done. I mean, they were trying to push in, but Maeve actually moves in to make sure she zones off Bittner. The rest of Renegades, though, move into that small room to be able to get those kills. Alex, though, is going to be able to find the first kill for NIP. This go-around, Bittner's going to find the next one, and we're already looking pretty good. Nice bomb, though, from Shadow and Hero. Two of them are going to be able to clean up more kills.
The downside here, though, no one was capping the entire time because they needed Hero in that fight to help them turn it around. That's a strat that some teams pull out, and it only works if you win immediately.
Right.
The characters on Renegades and Archon, those are tanks that don't die immediately.
Right.
They have time that you can buy, and now Shadow and Moonchopper both holding this left side, locking them down, buying just a little bit more time. Hero has to get off the point. Bonker now in finally getting cap time, but basically back to a repeated mid-fight, except now ults are a little bit more on the table.
Ash is on the right, along with the Cassie. Both of them holding this little room right here. But you're dealing with the Khan, you're dealing with the Bomb King and Damba. They are definitely watching their backs in this case. Hero gets moved all the way over. At the same time, Shadow's looking really good. He's going to miss a couple bombs on the Alex, but Alex is super low. Throws out Grumpy Bomb to make sure he can zone him. Now he's up on the lid. Now he's going to be throwing bombs down at the point. The Inflame actually comes out just to give himself immunity so he wouldn't die. And now Bittner going to be able to shoot right through this window. Doesn't find the kill, though.
Perfect healing by Vyro at the last moment, but in that time, distraction away from Moon. Moon's not getting heals. Moon goes down. Tenor up top, putting a lot of pressure onto the back line. Everyone's going to have to get away, and luckily for Renegades, they might. Hero's so low. Bunker trying to chase him, but actually gets distracted. They don't know. Tenor turns now, but perfect block
nice!
onto the Evil Mojo. Seismic Crash coming out too. Tenor might go down up top.
Good stuff. Mother Earth herself able to block the Evil Mojo. Uses that CC immunity to make sure they actually don't get turned into a chicken. And in this case, they're going to be able to fight immediately on point, charge right in. You're going to run right into a hard wall, though. Anara standing right there, get the kill on Bird. At the same time, assert dominance, they have to use it to get this point.
Hero actually perfectly jukes the assert dominance as he's coming down to be able to touch in the last moment.
No.
Great air shots by Tenor onto Invocal to push him away, and overtime ticking away. Hero has to wall himself off, keeps getting knocked away, won't be able to get another retouch.
Oh, they got the overpower, but it's a little bit too late at the same time. Oh, no, they didn't get the overpower. They actually missed it. I thought they did because of how linear everything was, but Bonker getting the kill on Moonchopper was extremely crazy at that point. I mean, they were trying to move in 0-4-4. I like Renegades did so well. Their slash lines are good, but at the same time, NIP just played it a little bit better.
The retake potential at the end with the Ash, too hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Tough to kill something that's invincible.
Yeah.
Overpower wasn't up in time to stop that, and they got maximum value from that assert dominance. You were looking at me because I kind of flailed a little bit because Tenor hit an air shot onto someone who was popping out while waitlisting out the window, so I was like, oh my, what a shot. I flailed a little bit, but either way, NIP, hoping Renegades potentially goes down contesting this objective. A little bit of time there. Both point tanks kind of just slamming into each other here, but look at
Nice.
this flank by Tenor, cleaving through everybody with the catalyst damage. Moxie just enough to keep him alive. Both DPS is now dead for Renegades.
Shadow gets a kill on a Bird, and Bird finds one on Invoco. Alex finds a double. Now he gets popped up into the air. These two are grouped up. Hero, Viral, all of them go down. A full-on wipe against the Renegades. NIP with the Evil Mojo and Scout ready to go.
This is the worst place for Renegades to be, for their composition specific. Maven Bomb King, not the best at holding this point. You want a very strong backline to abuse the fact that there's no way that the attacking team can get to you. It's going to have to be Maven. Maven's going to have to be moving in now with this Midnight. They know Diggy's on the side, but the Siege Shield is buying him just enough time for this Midnight to wear off. Nothing gained from Renegades, but really lost too. That might change now. Dread Serpent, though, pushes him away, but Invoco first one to go down.
Oh, no. You get a party right here. You already find 2 people with Evil Mojo. 2 of them that would be pivotal to this retake. They get the kill on the Diggy. Viral is able to at least get a kill on the Alex. Moonchopper's going to go down. Luckily, Hero is still alive on the point. Good heals coming out from Viral at the same time. And Bidner's going to fall soon after that.
Tenor, you're amazing, but come on, man. I don't know if anyone's going to be hitting those shots onto Invoco while you're trying to go in. Pick does eventually go down onto him, and Renegades do manage to stabilize. Still a couple ultimates spent by them to make it happen, but King Bomb, Midnight, and that's going to charge quick. Dread Serpent's going to be back up quick. Nothing too much of value lost. Great play by Hero to keep that card contested. Healing from Viral, keeping him alive as well. And NIP now, Evil Mojo used. That's one of the most influential ultimates that they have. What else are they going to be willing to use to convert this payload?
Exactly. Hero's still in a good spot, standing right there. It's very rarely moved. They use the Inflame once again. The wall goes up. At the same time, Grumpy Bomb comes out to try and at least get a zone. But with a Dome Shield, it's hard to argue that that's going to be looking really good for NIP to be able to close this out, and they do already with a 2-0 against Renegades.
Always smart, I think, to spend ultimates to convert payloads this early in the game. Even if, for whatever reason, they lose this next mid and immediately get snowballed and it's 2-2, it's 2-2. The game's not over. There's still plenty of time. Just that pressure from the start. Great healing by Viral to keep his team alive through this tank aggression. They just wanted Shadow dead, and clearly they chose the wrong target. Viral picking up both kills on the tanks of NIP. Only downside there, though, again, that fight went pretty long, but not a second of cap time for RNG until both those tanks were already coming back from spawn.
Exactly. 10 seconds until the match begins. And, of course, 10-2 for Alex already. I mean, he's having an astronomical game. Bird, plenty of credits to actually choose from. I mean, Renegades, once again, they're not doing awful. It's just NIP is just playing it better. They're able to get these more priority picks, which is what's netting them this point percentage. Viral, all the way in the back, literally taking the same position as last time to be able to make sure they do not let anyone on this side.
Much slower start from NIP, and that's smart. I mean, he got them punished last time, but apparently not slow enough. If Volko connects these daggers, he doesn't, but everyone else on Renegade's able to disengage. Kind of deny any usefulness from that. Hero now walls in Bonker, separated from his team. Dread Serpent to maybe try to find the kill, but not enough damage. There, finally Volko rotates over, and Renegades have an advantage at point time. Not counting that one. Evil Mojo coming in right now to try to clean up.
Nice job on the Moonchopper by hitting that Evil Mojo. They're going to find one kill, though. Midnight as well. They kill Hero right before they lose their side. Now they're just grouping up. They know they're all low, that they want to be able to try and push, but they've already got rid of their point tank. Renegades can't. They have to back up. Overpower and Seismic Crash are ready to go. King Bomb just came up, and if they time this right, they can get so much mileage off of this.
It's possible. Tenor now backing up behind the point to burn whoever tries to go in. Good pressure here. We'll see what happens. They actually kind of disengaging from the point. They don't want to get overpowered. The King Bomb's going to be the initiator here, but what can he find?
72%. He's going to find at least a stun onto Ash, but it's not going to be a kill. And Inflame once again, I believe the 4th or 5th one this go-around, walls him off. But everyone's already focusing on Hero. There's nothing he can really do in this scenario.
Great trade there on the side, but not enough in the end. NIP still managed to maintain point control, and they knew exactly what ultimates were coming in and countered them beautifully. Didn't let Moonchopper get off that overpower. Still on the board for them, but now down 3-0 and staring at another loss here potentially in the standings.
Right, overpower once again is still available. He did end up really whipping it for a little bit. He is 1-9. Now the slash is looking a little bit rough for some of the members of Renegades. At the same time, though, they are just holding their ground. And so our NIP with this aggression, they're definitely making them feel pressure. None of them have really been able to push up. That's the furthest I've seen somebody up with Alex. Alex dodge rolls into the wall, though, so they're going to be able to at least get something started with their aggression.
Chopper now blocking the door to keep Shadow alive, but people coming back from spawn might be able to catch Shadow in the back. Hit scan from Bird, catches Invoco trying to fly through the air, but everyone at Renegades over there on the side, not contesting the cart. Finally, they get kills, but
Nice.
too late.
Good wall from Hero to make sure that Ash does not get out of there. Of course, Alex peering out through that window, getting shots on the Shadow, getting shots on the Hero, the Bomb King, the Inara. At this point, Renegades is able to at least push them back. They've got Dread Serpent, Midnight, and Overpower still waiting to use it. But NIP, literally, when this Inflame has happened, they just go all in. There is no stopping.
And that's kind of how you have to do it. You got to get the value from it. Great air shot, tenor on top. Vocal floating through the air. Hero super aggressive into the middle of the team, and this is actually doing a great job of separating NIP. Midnight comes in, immediately countered by Scout. Now Vocal has to rotate out. Left Hero alone. Drop into the pit. Drop into the grave.
Right, exactly. I mean, Vocal, of course, wants to stand on this lid to be able to make sure he can counter anyone else that might try and go up there like Bidner, but also want to make sure he can look down and fire when he needs to. At the same time, 4, all of them gone. A 5th one in Renegade's name has gone down. 40 seconds left. NIP have literally the mother load of ults. They have 3 of them, but they're so impactful. They've got Inflame, they've got Evil Mojo, and they've got Assert Dominance. They only got 30 seconds, but to me, I mean, with those ults, seems like you got plenty of time.
Rough target to try to get it on, though. If they force out Hero's DR, dude, that's going to make this so much harder for Renegades. As soon as that's down, Evil Mojo's going to come in. Hero walls because he knows it's coming.
Right.
There's only so much time he can buy. From tries to let them fight for more time, but a great overpower by Moonchopper onto the Furia.
Nice, but he's not going to get killed because he lets him go a little bit too early. No one else is actually able to focus down on him like that. The Inflame comes through to make sure the rest of NIP can actually push in. Shadow gets a kill, though. Viral Hero, the 3 of them were able to find something, but the staying power of Ash, Assert Dominance at this point. Nice Poppy Bomb, though, to get him off of the point, and good Snake Bite from Viral. They're going to be able to at least hold on to the thread of life that they have left.
That was literally the only thing they could have done.
Right, exactly.
There is no other way that Renegades wins that fight other than the Poppy into the stun to get the kill on the Ash. Assert Dominance. Can't do anything else to an invincible target unless you do that to stop her from getting back in. And great by them to stay that calm and know what has to be done in that desperate situation. Shadow, the man behind it, Bomb King, kind of shifting back into the meta. I think on the back of the bans on Willow, very tough to kind of play it. This was him during that very final fight. So impactful. Doing a lot of damage. Basically, I think getting almost every kill. Not only did that stun happen, but the Poppy also happened as soon as the Grumpy stun hit, keeping Diggy out of that for even longer.
That's super. I mean, when you get off plays like that, not only do they feel good, but you see the mileage they can carry. Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to stay in the same room, watch the same flank, but the damage is coming through the Pyre Strike. They got to back off. He's going to be able to live just barely, but they all have to make sure they respect that. In this point, though, 19% for him. Hero's trying to back off as well, and they actually dropped Dome Shield to actually try, I guess, to get his own.
Did it for the zone, but I don't know if it's going to make any difference. No ultimates on the board for anybody. Renegades the closest to theirs. This Midnight will be uncontested as well when it does finally come out. The aggression coming in on the side again, though. Renegades live again, just barely. The healing from Viral so impactful. And Hero still trading on the point, but because Viral's back there, he's not healing Hero on the point. All the kills are going towards NIP because of the healing.
And Vocal actually ends up going down soon after that. They're going to be forced to back off 66%, and it's slowly building. They have Midnight, though. They're about to get Dread Serpent too, so they have to make some big, massive plays to be able to make something work this last go around.
He makes it onto the point. Diggy Dog gets feared in the top. Shadow has to get the last heal, but now no heals can go.
Nice.
Onto Moon on point. Alex, first one to go down for NIP, though, and complete control of this side to Renegades.
Hey, but Hero actually just made it back along with it. Vocal, the cavalry is here. Bonka tries to go all the way in the back. They heard the Inflame actually ends up getting popped off, but at the same time, they still got comeback mechanic. They just have to wait. The King is here as well. King Bomb. He sees Bird on the side, but he's going to get picked off just as that is happening. Hero gets knocked off the point, followed by an Evil Mojo, and I believe that is it against the Renegades. NIP do manage to clutch that one out. That was close.
Furia Pip is a scary composition, and Renegades got reminded of why it's so impactful. The aggression from a dive from Pip, plus the Inflame, plus Evil Mojo, making it so no tank is safe.
Right.
Great comp by them, I think, at the end of the game. I think Renegades played around it as well as they could, but at the end of the day, I mean, nip's still nip.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I mean, it was like, that was a 1-3 score. Well, really a 1-4 score because NIP ended up just taking the set. But I said that was close because they played that so well as the game progressed. They made a few mistakes here and there, which cost them. They were very costly mistakes. At the same time, though, Renegades, man, I mean, they looked good. It's still 2-4, and they still gave NIP sort of a run for their money despite that.
Yeah, I think the drafts for them were pretty solid across the board. I don't think either team really got completely shut out there. I think NIP just ended up having more options. Like we saw, really aggressive start on that last mid, and then hard shift to playing a little bit more defensive maybe, and then last mid, then we're really aggressive with the zoning, with the dome shield. So much flexibility in what NIP was bringing to the table, I think kind of shook Renegades a little bit. We saw them trying to adapt to it, but Viral trying to keep this team alive in that final fight made it so his point tank got too pressured out. There was no way that they could stay alive through that onslaught.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, you have a good time Snakebite, you have a good time Grumpy Bomb as well to be able to make sure you can at least defend, gain that 1 point for you. But at the same time, Renegades, they weren't able to actually close out the set or at least take us to a game 7. They did extremely well, though. I'm proud of them. We're going to throw it right back to the desk to get us started.
To bring it all to an end, in fact, is what we're here to do, guys. Great set there from the Renegades. Well played, I think, overall. Much better performance, I think, than what you would statistically expect out of a 8 seed versus a 2nd seed.
Yeah.
NIP do end up getting it done, though. I have to say, I still don't have a real sense of the flavor of what type of team NIP are kind of trying to be. It feels like everybody, and maybe it's just a product of this meta where everything's viable, there's not a lot of like styles like hard and fast where people are just settling into. Well,
that's kind of the thing. You know, we looked at them throughout phase 1, and like that concept was like, okay, this is the type of team they are. This strategy I was gonna say they go hard, fast, and they just knock you out before you realize that you're in the fight, right?
Bird's damage.
And wow, actually putting his name in there.
Hit it very hard.
I mean, he did 20K more than Moonchopper.
That's a lot. That's a lot of damage for a support. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, 20K under your off tanks and tenor. I mean, Jesus, Bird. Almost as much healing as he did. 97K healing. Viral smoked him on the healing charts, but part of that's just having an R, right?
Yeah, and having more damage being dealt to the Renegades that they could potentially heal off. Inflames coming through. Also, it kind of offset it. I mean, 35K healing coming down from the Pip.
That's actually huge too.
So being able to come through, they played it in a very, very weird fashion together, and it synergized perfectly for them.
Yeah.
3 and 12 for Invocal and Moonchopper as well. Definitely
Alex.
made it a lot easier for them.
In phase 1, the Pip was like, it was really Tenor and Diggy Dog would run around, and Alex would follow them on something, usually like maybe like a Vivian or like a Tyra, and just like try to keep up, try and help kill them. But with Tenor really keeping Bird alive, I saw a lot of those healing potions hit Furia. Maybe that is what allowed Bird to do so much damage. That symbiotic relationship in the back line. If somebody dives Bird, they get healed by Bittner. If somebody dives Bittner, he gets healed by Bird. And of course the Inflame, 1,020. This is a support character. This is a support character splashing 2 people for over 1,000 damage. What can you do against that, folks? What can you do? Relatively quick game on Brightner. Not the fastest per game of hours.
That first round was long.
And that was really it, though. Like that, the first round was like 6 minutes long for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Took him forever to capture
put that
the
in perspective, that was Shattered Desert as a whole.
Was just round 1 of Brightmarsh here. And Pip, he owns early in the game. I mean, when his healing's unmitigated, when his damage isn't really being slowed down, when nobody has resilience, it's just such a pain to deal with, man. That character, he can be frustrating, of course, when you have the best in the world on him. Let's go down and actually hear from that man himself.
He was kind of slow. I was like,
all right, guys, welcome into the interview. Of course, it's always good to see you guys here. Congratulations on your win. I wanted to open up a question about how we've pretty much seen a little bit less of Torvald here and there, especially during this patch. A little bit less of a Torvald-ish meta. At the same time, though, you guys have picked up Furia. Furia came out a lot this entire set. Do you feel like she's sort of a mainstay? Is she supplementing the fact that you guys pretty much don't pick Torvald as much anymore?
I mean, Furia was always good, but when we had Torvald, it was kind of different because we get the damage jump from there. But now that Furia's the thing, it's kind of the same or better.
You guys were able to fall back onto a really comfortable draft on Shattered Desert, but one change up, I mean, we had Cassie kind of in the spot of that what used to be the Tyra helping the tanks damage. How well does Cassie fill in that spot that the Tyra used to have?
I mean, you can take it if you want.
You want me to take it? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of different without the Tyra because she had the damage jump that helped the tanks, but Cassie also has a lot of damage herself, and with big game into those tanks, kind of supplemented for it.
Right back to you, Bittner. Talk to me a little bit about Pip. We got to we're used to seeing him on Jaguar Falls. From you specifically, where do you think he's at in the meta? What made him work there on Bright Marsh?
It's hard to say now that Willow is a thing and after his nerves, but he's definitely still good and should probably take it more.
Where do you guys see yourselves on the overall standings? I mean, your only wins this phase so far, I think, were Renegades and SSG. Am I correct about that?
No.
Yeah. No.
We beat everyone.
This phase, Bunker. But
joking, dude.
where do you guys see yourselves in the overall standings after the wins you've had this phase?
I mean, we're in a slope, but we're definitely on the up grind again.
7th.
All right, well, still, you guys managed to get that win today. Hopefully that'll help you guys juice up. Thank you very much, and congrats on your win today. We're going to take it back to the desk, though, right now. Wrap up the day.
7th place bunker. You heard it here first.
That's that stay humble
My
mentality.
man is shooting for the stars. 8th place looking ass over there in the interview booth. Oh, my man. A new haircut. He's not really feeling himself anymore, though. Humble. We'll call it a humble goal there for Bonker. He wants to find himself a little bit above 7th place, I would hope. Tanner seems to think they're on the upswing again. I think it's safe to say they were on a break. They were back in EU for a little while. The quality of practice, I imagine, drops dramatically when you're back kind of home. But hopefully you can kind of get something else out of that time. Recharge your batteries a little bit, hopefully, and then kind of get back on the grind here. That's it for this week, or for this day, folks. 1-4, obviously going to SSG. 4-2 in favor of NIP. Just one matchup tomorrow, NIP versus Team Envy. And a lot of this, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we've rescheduled a couple of these matchups. There will be a 14th week of PPL play, so we will be concluding the last week of October, or excuse me, the second to last week of October. That 24th and 25th will be the last days of the PPL. Still a lot of good action. Again, things are starting to get closer to locked in. Not a whole lot of games left to play. Let's head to the standings. Nothing necessarily shifting today. Some teams having a couple more games played than others. The big one to watch with that note is Space Station Gaming. 24 games played there. They're cranking them out as fast as they possibly can, but still playing that catch-up.
And they're in that area, that fifth, like third, fourth, fifth, right? That's where the eyes need to be. Right now, one game, I believe, ahead of VP and Envy, but still sitting behind overall in score. VP Envy, depending on Envy's set against NIP tomorrow, that could shift over who's going to be in third.
Yeah.
And those are the most dynamic three spots, and that fourth, fifth slot is pretty much that's the cutoff. That's where you want to be 4 and above. So SSG still have a lot of work, I think, to make that full climb up, but they're right there. I mean, they're on the cusp of it, and if Envy lose a few sets, or VP, when they come back, lose a few sets, all of a sudden SSG gets
That's really
up.
it, man. That's the question. Ninjas in Pyjamas, that's a big game tomorrow against Team Envy, just to push them further down the standings, maybe give SSG a better shot at making that top 4. And then, of course, when Virtus Pro come back to finish out their phase, how do they look, right?
Yeah.
Did they get a little rusty on the break? All questions we will have answered in time. Tune in tomorrow, guys, for Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Team Envy. That will start at 1 p.m. Again, just the one best of 7 tomorrow. High octane quick broadcast for you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. My name's been Pretty Hair Gormizer from everybody else in the casting crew and production here at Skillshot Media. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Premier League.
We're here live from Atlanta. The players are here. The stage is set. Let's get down for Respawn!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
If that's second place, I can't wait to see what first place is.
It is HRX.